Alright, hey guys, Zomb Phox here. I know it's a couple minutes late. Not ready for this. I just wasn't ready for this morning. Woke up really late at like 12 o'clock and I still had a bunch of stuff to do this morning. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out everything, so getting everything pretty much set up, so that's good. But like I said, just late morning for your boy, and obviously that's kind of what made this take a little bit. I still gotta get certain things open. 2025 UFL season. Pull that up over there. Gotta get this link so I can say that I'm live on X. I am live for the Stallions versus Battlehawks. Put that up there. There we go. Sup Jay, sup MB. Again, just a bit tired from earlier, waking up, getting everything set up. I'm trying to remember everything I gotta get set up. No, not learn more. Thank you, Shark Mako. Let me get this pull up as well. Who wins? The Stallions or the Battlehawks. There we go. So let's get that pull up right there. Jamar Smith starting. I know, it is great to see that he is actually starting. I mean, the guy who hasn't really played a ton since 2022. I mean, it's wild to see that for sure. This game should be a really good one because you have two teams that both, like, in all honesty, this game really doesn't affect either their playoff chances that much. Because while technically it does affect them both to a degree, it mainly affects St. Louis more because St. Louis does have to win as well as Arlington lose to clinch a playoff spot. But at the same token, right, if Arlington just loses, it means that St. Louis has still got a very good shot at making the playoffs. As for Birmingham, this game literally doesn't matter today. If Michigan gets the W, that's all that matters for them. We'll see. So we got... Oh, that game's tomorrow. So we got a Game 7 tonight in the NHL, Game 7 tomorrow in the NBA. Love to see that, love to see that. Let's see, any of the big golfers start off yet? I believe no. Probably tee time is until like 2, correct. None of them are really started. Okay, then, put that over there. There we go, getting everything set up. This game, like I said, this is an important matchup for these Battlehawks more so than the Stallions, but it still obviously does matter for them both. So we'll see exactly how it ends up going. It will be interesting for sure. Now, this is the first regional broadcast game of the season, and it's the only one. So at the same time of this game between the Stallions and Battlehawks, we will be seeing the Roughnecks Panthers. That game matters more. If the Panthers win, both Birmingham and Michigan clinch a playoff spot, which then means that the UFL Championship game will be in Birmingham because Michigan cannot host. So that is a very big deal for this game. Or for that game. This game obviously is the matchup that's just a big matchup. Last year these two teams gave us an incredible game. That was great. On my mic aux, it's got me at like 25-ish. Let me see. Okay, so do that. I just turned that up a little bit. Not a ton, but I just turned it up a little bit. Still trying to figure out a perfect one, because like every time I up the mic volume and then down the gain, it just gets worse for both of them. But, okay, go to community tab. I hate how they changed that to community instead of just comments. I really wish they didn't do that. Some YouTube changes, man, they just suck, but it is what it is. Scroll down, nothing. Go back over there, community or content, live. Good. Key players for the Stallions versus Battlehawks. Of course, Willie Harvey and Mike Rose for the Battlehawks, 2 linebackers. I believe they're both healthy. Those are, of course, 2 big ones right there. Orioles fire their manager, not shocked. For Stallions, it is mainly going to be Jamar Smith, exactly how well he does play in his return game as a starter. First time he's going to be starting a game since 2023, and even then in 2023, it was week 1, and he got hurt in that very same game. So that's a very big deal is in regards to his health there. So that's a key player. Deion Kane. Historically this season, when Deion Kane has a good game, it is all but a guarantee that the Stallions end up winning. So that's another big deal for them. So that's another good one there. As for the Stallions' defense, Keava Tizino is obviously a big one, and even their pass rush to an extent. With how it's been this year, that's another one too. Yeah, I mean, with how Tizino's been historically, he's another one that is a very solid player. So whatever he can do is a big deal for sure. We'll see. It'll definitely be a we'll see kind of thing, but I would definitely say that those are some of the key players, all things considered. Riddle and Riddle. So awkward, man. I always forget how, like, this pre-12 or pre-1 o'clock time on, like, 1 p.m. is always so random, but hey, it is what it is. We'll see, though. MVP for the Stallions and the Battlehawks on the season would probably... it would have been Sailors earlier in the year, but recently, man, it's just hard because he just hasn't been performing at the level we kind of expected him to. Stallions, it still is Deion Kane. He's been the most consistent player for that team, and he's historically been good when they win. But as for the Battlehawks, it might be Willie Harvey again, or it's Sailors. It's even with the issues with how Sailors have played this year, he still is a great player. It's just a matter of him playing better. Because how much people want to claim Duggan is a big issue for the Battlehawks, it's also Sailors. Because he just hasn't been playing the same level that he was in the past, because in the past he was playing at this absurd level, and this year not as much. When they return, same with Boogie Roberts and Sears. Hey, I mean, that Showboats team is full of all those maulers. Matt Mangle as well. I mean, it's wild. Chris Blewett on the Roughnecks. I mean, he could go back too. It's pretty wild. Now again, this is going to be interesting. Yesterday's game, for those of you that were here, which most of you were, was a crazy game. One of the best games of the season, for like a lot of wrong reasons, but it was a really fun game to watch. This game is a lot to live up to, because that game was an insanely fun game between the Showboats and Brahmas, the second OT game in UFL history, and the second involving the Showboats, and the second the Showboats won. Wild ending. Just a wild game, wild ending, so this is going to be a fun one, hopefully. Again, last year, Stallions Battlehawks was game of the year to most people. I'm pretty sure I also had it number one in my top 5 games of the 2025 UFL season. So, you would hope this game ends up living up to that hype a little bit. We'll see, though. It is going to be a tough one to live up to with how good that one was, but you never know. We'll see. Let's see. Okay, that's not... Go on to X, making sure I got everything posted. I know I said I was debating on when I was going to make the Tank Bowl video. I was planning on at least starting that video today. I don't know for sure when I'm going to post it, but probably going to start it tonight, so yeah. Holland is trending. Let's see. What do you do? Teammate missed a penalty. Wow. Other stuff trending that I literally don't care about. Not shocked. Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales today, the UFC Apex. Who you got experience for skill and youth? Man, I still can't believe that's the main event for this fight. I mean, Burns won his last fight against somebody pretty respectable, if I remember correctly. That fight got canceled. Oh, that's right. His last fight wasn't... Okay. I mean, his last loss was to Sean Brady, and I mean, Brady, at that point, you would say very similar. I mean, Gilbert Burns' 2 last losses are to arguably the best 2 fighters in the division, Sean Brady and JDM. Those are 2 pretty good losses to take if you're going to take 2. This was a fight that was supposed to be earlier, like a week ago, but wasn't. Morales, let's see. Neil Magny. I wouldn't be shocked if Gilbert Burns gets a W. The fact that his last couple of fights were against such real competitors, and one of them was a 3rd round TKO. So yeah, he got knocked out, but it was in the 3rd round, and the other was a 5-round decision. So the fact that he was able to keep it up with Sean Brady, I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up pulling off the W. Especially Morales, how again he's one of the guys that's one of the younger guys that isn't fighting like a lot. Again, I know so many UFC fighters just don't like fighting for some reason, but got to give it to Burns, I think, for that. Sternberg definitely a Stallion for life. Yeah. I mean, he keeps coming back every year, and he's just been great every year. Cena not a Stallion for life. He would go back to the Maulers. I would agree. I can't wait for my boy Jamar to cook. Sup, J-Love, Glazer. I agree. I mean, Jordan Love, it'd be really cool to see Jamar Smith have a great game today. It would just be great to see. So I do hope that happens. That would be something we would love to see. Again, hasn't played a full game of football since 2022, because in 2023 he was riding the bench after he got hurt, and then when he eventually was, I don't even know if he got healthy at all that year, but even if he did, that was, with Alex Magoo's incredible season where he was just, he was the quarterback for the season. So, pretty big deal. Now again, regional broadcast, I know not everybody's happy about it. At least it's only one game this year, which again, I think it's something that a lot of people don't want to admit. When the league does expand, we're going to get a lot more regional broadcast games. Don't be shocked if they add 2 more teams that every single week has a minimum of 1 double broadcast game. It's just a matter of, if you add 2 more teams and you have 5 games a week, you only have so many time slots. And unless they're going to also devote like Monday night for a game, you're going to be forced to do it. Who would want to go back to the Philadelphia Stars? Who do you think would be in the Stallions Ring of Honor when they start doing stuff like that? I just got done with a TikTok. Hey, make it. I mean, I personally just don't use TikTok, but hey, make the edits, help the UFL, love to see it. But when it comes to Stars, if Cookus were to still play, I could see him going back. I wouldn't even be shocked if Bart Andrus were to come back and go coach the Stars. But when it comes to Stallions Ring of Honor, I would say, for what they did, Jamar and Magoo, and maybe even Martinez, all the quarterbacks pretty much, that were really big deals for them. Jace would definitely be there. DeMarcus Gates would be there. Scooby would be there. You could probably put Carlos Davis there. Deion Kane for sure. Victor Bolden Jr. probably is a few, yeah. I want to see the Houston game when this is announcing. The Houston game, and man, this guy. Let's see. Max Duggan with that weird AF throwing motion. We'll see if he can get the job done today. It's going to be interesting. Again, this game, in terms of playoff implications, really matters for St. Louis more than Birmingham. St. Louis needs a win and an Arlington loss to clinch. Whereas Birmingham, this game legit doesn't really matter for this week. It's just about Michigan beating Houston. If Michigan beats Houston, then both Birmingham and Michigan clinch. And we get a rematch of last year's USFL Championship game, which gave us that absolutely wild third quarter and that just wild game overall. Mad Max throwing motion is so weird. It really is a wild one. Moose talking about if Damon Arnett has changed. Of course, Damon Arnett, got out of the NFL because of the off-the-field stuff. So that's a pretty cool thing to see there. Again, it's a big deal if he can actually go back to the NFL. That would be a huge deal, yeah. Phillip Duggan. 1-9 neon green team. I really do hope this game ends up being good. I think this is a pretty wild quarterback matchup. Again, telling somebody before the season that it would be Max Duggan versus Jamar Smith, I think they would not believe you whatsoever. So this is going to be a wild one. Again, the Battlehawks offense, in the Max Duggan era, they've put up 1 good game of offense. The other 3 were pretty poor, but this defense is a really good unit. At this moment, I would say St. Louis has the best defense in the league. I know some would argue that maybe even with the injuries of Michigan, some might try to argue Birmingham. All things considered, I think that what St. Louis has done this season is the most impressive. So yeah. You tell me about the Houston game. I only got the 1 on coverage right now that I can see. If Adam does join, I know he's going to try and keep everybody up with that one. So if he ends up joining, I know he will. In terms of importance for that game, obviously Houston needs that win to stay alive. They win that game, they're still alive. They go 3-0 to end the season, they will make the playoffs. Whether it be over Michigan or over Birmingham, doesn't matter, they'll make it. Now, they lose, obviously both Birmingham and Michigan clinch a playoff spot. Now, this game, I believe, is in Houston. Season schedule, week 8. Yes, so this game is in Houston, so that will obviously help them out a bit, mainly not because they have home field advantage, but because they're not having to play against, the Panthers at Michigan. That's the real difference there. Now, of course, the UFL just posted about the thing that there was some tornadoes that ended up hitting the St. Louis area during the last 24 hours. So this is a game that has a lot of impact for St. Louis as people in St. Louis. St. Louis, again, dealing with a lot of things that just happened yesterday, as everyone would say, real-world stuff. So it's a very big deal for St. Louis to try and win this game for the St. Louis fans. Yeah, Michigan Head speaks. That'd be great. Sup, Adam? Yep. As talked about, for as an FY, in case you don't know, if Michigan, St. Louis, and DC win, the 4 playoff teams are set, and the 2 home teams are automatically set because of how the Michigan Panthers and DC Defenders cannot hold their home field advantage. So we could see pretty much the entire playoffs be set today, which will be absolutely wild. I'm going over to the PFN Discord, just seeing what's up. Oh my god, I thought you were kidding for a second. Bro, Danny Etling is starting. Oh my god. Oh, Perkins is out? Okay, so Bryce Perkins is out for the Panthers. So, if you're on the MV Perkins bandwagon, you honestly might be hoping Michigan loses. Because if Michigan loses, it's going to actually look really good for Bryce Perkins. So, yeah, it looks like it's an ankle. So, DPS, thank you for calling that out. That is actually pretty wild right there. Kick is up. Birmingham's getting the ball. They return to the 20. Return to the 25. Tackle out of bounds about the 26. Again, the poll's going to be up for a little bit. It looks like he's out because of an ankle injury, they're saying. Might be trying to keep him a bit healthy. Again, I know the last couple of weeks he's been running a lot and doing some very, let's just say, not great decisions while running the ball. So it might be a matter of that and that they're trying to protect him a bit. Again, Michigan winning gets them a playoff spot. So for the MVP race, obviously that means that if later tomorrow DC is able to get a great win over Arlington, it's going to help out Teamu's case for MVP. And if the Panthers win, it's going to hurt Perkins' case. But if they lose, it's going to help his case. We'll see. First step for the Birmingham Stallions. Ball is snapped. Handed off up the middle. Goes to the left and gets about 4 yards in the carry. Of course, this is Jamar Smith's first start since 2023, week 1 with the Stallions. So this is a very big deal when it comes to the quarterback for them. What's up, G-Man? Bro, I woke up really early Friday, so I literally could not keep myself conscious for the game last night. Glad Memphis won. That game was incredible. It really was. Team MVP incoming. Yeah. It looks like it might. With Perkins being out, it might. Second down for the Stallions. 3 receivers to the right. 1 running back to his right as well. It is going to be another handoff, and it's going to be about a 3.5-yard gain. They gave him a pretty poor spot in that last play, so that ended up only getting them to about a 3rd and 3. Let's see what Birmingham can do here. No Perkins, a problem. Yeah, I mean, if the Panthers lose, it helps out Perkins' MVP case, which I hate to say, but it's true, but yeah. Why can't I only watch one of the 2 games playing? Because, like the NFL normally, this is a regional broadcast game. I believe most of the country is getting Birmingham, St. Louis, and then obviously like the Houston and Michigan areas are getting the Panthers, Roughnecks. If you have the Fox Sports app and account and subscription, you can watch both games, I believe. Pass is thrown over the middle by Jamar. It is incomplete. It is going to be a 3-and-out forced by the St. Louis Battlehawks. So last year they had 3 of those regional broadcast games. This year they only had 1. A big reason for that is because of the coverage that Fox and ABC has this weekend. Essentially, the only real free time slot that Fox has the rest of this week is actually tomorrow during ABC's game. So because of that, it ends up being where they had to do the regional broadcast this week. Last year they had it 3 times, so we went down from 3 to 1. But it does suck that that is the case. Though, as mentioned earlier, when the league does expand, they're going to have at least one every week for sure. Punt is up for the Stallions. The Battlehawks are going to return at about... Ooh, they're going to let it bounce. Ooh, and it takes a St. Louis bounce to go for a touchback. Big break for them. It initially looked like it might have actually stopped at the one bounce just straight up, but it went to the end zone. So let's see what the Battlehawks can do. Max Duggan and the St. Louis offense. Again, St. Louis in this offense, during the Max Duggan era, have given you one really solid offensive performance. The last three haven't been all that great. So we'll see if this is going to be another good performance or another poor performance, because arguably these are the two best defenses in the league going head-to-head. So we'll see how this goes. And we'll put up close the poll. Again, just like last night's poll, this was a almost dead even poll in regards to what people think is going to be the winner. So, not too shocked. 1st and 10 for the Battlehawks. Duggan is in shotgun, motioning one receiver to his left, one running back to his left as well. Ball is snapped, looks to the middle of the field. He's going to scramble the pocket, going to throw a deep shot in the middle. It is going to be caught. Ooh, Ja'Cour Pearson does not catch it. It looked like it was going to be a good catch. Instead, it is an incomplete pass. That was a very solid throw by Duggan, but it looks like Pearson just couldn't haul it in. Let's see the replay, see if the defender made a great move on this one. Showing the replay, Pearson just burnt his man. Duggan could have thrown that a little bit farther, but all things considered, you can't really get much better on that throw. You can literally only make it about like a yard or two better. That's an overall pretty solid throw. Just wasn't able to get it in. The defender was able to catch up and make the play. 2nd and 10 for the Battlehawks. Handed off to Sailors, who runs up the middle and gets about 5 yards on the carry. Depending on the spot, they might even give him 6 yards. Very solid play for the Battlehawks. Again, Jacob Sailors the last few weeks, again in the Duggan era, has not played as well as he was doing during the Manny Wilkins era of this season. So if he can go back to that Manny Wilkins form, it'll be a huge break for the St. Louis offense. As when Sailors is going, he is the best running back in the league. So let's see what they do here on 3rd and 4. Again, pretty good spot for the Battlehawks, giving him 3rd and 4. Let's see what they do here. Duggan is in shotgun, one man to his right in the backfield, two receivers to his right, two to his left. Motion, Sailors out to the right. Quick throw over the middle, and it is going to be incomplete. That's something very similar to Jalen McClendon we've seen in the last couple weeks. Kind of throwing a rocket pass over the middle of the field, sub 5 yards. You got to throw a much easier pass for your receiver to catch. Yes, it hit him in the hands, but you can't throw a rocket ball 4 yards away from your receiver. That one, that's kind of a mix of both on the receiver and on Duggan. Duggan shouldn't have thrown it that hard, but if it hits both your hands, you're kind of expected to catch it. So it's another 3 and out. Again, this game was going to be a battle of two incredible defenses, the two arguably best defenses in the entire league, St. Louis and Birmingham, both forcing a 3 and out. 4th and 4 punt for St. Louis. Punt is up. Drifting to the right side of the field, is going to be recovered at the 25-yard line, return to the 30, and gets tackled just shy of the 35-yard line. 11 minutes and 10 seconds left in this game. So while we're in the commercial break for this one, let's go over here. Let's go. My game prediction for this one was that I predicted that St. Louis would win a low-scoring 24-18 game. I expected this game to be a lower... Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong game. I predicted they would win 27-25. So a higher-scoring game. I thought that both offenses would end up playing pretty well despite it being a defensive battle in terms of best defenses. So we'll see if that ends up happening. Again, this game was legit a pick'em game in regards to betting because of the fact that both these teams are just... Most people view the Stallions are better, even though I have, of course, the other team higher. I know a lot of people had the Stallions as a higher-ranked team, and normally the home team gets a 3-point edge, so it's kind of how the betting odds work, though. We'll see. Danny Etling getting the start, of course, for the Houston game. For those of you who did not catch that, Bryce Perkins is out this week. So for the MVP race, that, of course, is a huge potential advantage for Jordan Ta'amu. If he has a good game against Arlington, it's going to help his MVP case out immensely. Vice versa, however, if the Panthers end up losing, especially if they lose badly to the Roughnecks, it's going to make the case for Bryce Perkins much better. I 100% disagree. Got to catch it if you cannot throw it slower. Defender close the gap too fast. Sometimes it's true, but like we've seen with McClendon as well, when you throw a rocket arm pass within anything under 5 yards, it becomes immensely harder to catch. And if anything, that's actually how you get a lot of interceptions as well, because if you throw it too hard and the receiver can't make the catch immediately, it ends up getting tipped a lot. We did see that with Jalen McClendon as an issue a couple weeks ago in one of the games we were streaming there, where he was throwing rocket passes within 5 yards, and that was really hurting his receivers, especially running backs who aren't normally like that. But like I said, that's why if it's a receiver, it's more or less on both of them, but if it's to a running back, it's 100% on the quarterback. A running back should not be expected to catch a rocket pass 3 yards away from him, but a receiver, It's to a lesser extent. That's why I think it's about 50-50 on which one is fault. Zaquandre Wright had another big run. Of course, last week against the Stallions, he had a mega run for the Roughnecks. So love seeing that again. 4th and goal for the Roughnecks. We'll see if they can end up getting that one. Again, we are at week 8 of the season. 2 weeks left after this one. It's going to be a game. Again, for the playoffs, obviously for those of you joining recently, if the Michigan Panthers beat the Houston Roughnecks, it guarantees that both the Stallions and the Panthers clinch a playoff berth. If St. Louis wins this game and DC beats Arlington, it means St. Louis and DC clinch, though that game between DC and Arlington is tomorrow on Sunday. Especially if it's a little too high and fast, lots of picks. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember if he did. I know one of the throws McClendon threw last week almost got picked, because I know there's one he was trying to throw a little check down to his running back, and he, like, legit threw a missile at him, and he's, like, 5 yards away from him. And it was a wild throw. 1st and 10 for the Stallions. Fake the handoff. Jamar throws it to his right. It's a bit of a deep pass. It is going to be a catch ball by Deon Cain. Touchdown, Stallions. That's what I was talking about heading into this game. Deon Cain, when he is playing great, there is almost no stopping the Stallions' offense. Perfect throw by Jamar Smith. Deon Cain was able to catch it in stride for the big touchdown play. Birmingham is up 6-0 with 11 minutes and 1 second left. First play of scrimmage on that drive, touchdown Deon Cain. Jamar Smith throws that knowing he's going to get hit, throws a perfect pass to Deon Cain. Absolutely beautiful. Again, Deon Cain, he has a very slight, but he does have a slight argument for MVP. When he plays well, this Stallions team wins games. Incredible play. Again, perfect pass by Jamar when able to catch it in stride, and Deon Cain beat his man, got it. Going for 2, they're in 5 wide. Jamar is by himself in the backfield. Ball is snapped, looks to the left. Scrambling, he's going to go for it. He rushes, and he gets tackled, and it's going to be shy, but it's a fumble. But because of it being a fumble, it's going to be a no-goal, unsuccessful. Looked like he was going to get it, but then the defender just kind of pushed his offensive lineman into him. Very solid play by the St. Louis defense right there. Being able to stop Jamar from rushing that in. Again, it looked like they were able to push the lineman into Jamar, make him fall down. So it is only 6-0. That is considering St. Louis. That definitely is. I mean, that's the kind of throw you do not want to see. Again, Jamar Smith has not played a full game since 2022's division final. That's the last time he played a full game. Even in the 2023 or 2022 championship game, he got hurt in that game. 2023, he started week 1, got hurt in that game. He has not played a full game since the second to last week of the 2022 USFL season. Giving him that kind of throw can give him a lot of momentum and a lot of kind of build-up, moxie and all that for this game, which you do not want to see if you're a St. Louis fan. Definitely a concern. I fully agree with Dustin saying that. Houston did get a field goal up, as Adam pointed out. So, yes, Houston is up by 3. So, both the Roughnecks and the Stallions are up initially. Now, also as an FYI, for those of you who have joined somewhat recently, it is very important to know that Bryce Perkins is out for the Panthers. He got hurt last week, and some say they're just trying to kind of help him, not get him hurt. But he is out for this game against the Roughnecks. So it is Danny Etling versus the Roughnecks. UFL should last as long as Stallions don't go undefeated every single year, winning the championship every year. What a pass by Smith. Giddy up. Absolutely incredible pass. Danny Etling is 0 of 1. Why am I not shocked? Talking about Jamar right now in the press conference, showing some clips from the OG USFL. Like the OG 2022 USFL, I should say. Again, he was with Jamar a long time ago. I know we talked about back with the USFL, right? Jamar was with Skip in college. That's why he's always been around the Stallions. Even when he's not playing, always good to have on the team. Wouldn't be shocked if when he does fully retire, he might even get a coaching job with them, but we'll see. Longest play of the season for Birmingham. An absolutely wild play. The St. Louis Battlehawks have to answer now. Again, the last few weeks, they haven't played all that well on offense. They've had one good week under Max Duggan. When you look at their schedule this year, they put up 32 points against Michigan. Aside from that, in the Duggan era, they have not put up more than 20. So you do not want to let the Stallions get off to a hot start and get a lead, considering the fact that historically, under Max Duggan, you have not been able to put up a ton of points. I picked St. Louis to win because I was expecting that they would finally have another good offensive showing. We'll see. J. Moore should be the QB's coach for the Stallions. 100% agree on that. He really should be. It'd be great to see. If the UFL continues for years ahead, the championship will be called the Holtz Trophy more than likely. Wouldn't be shocked. Returns it to the 5-yard line for the Battlehawks. Gets to the 15, to the 20, the 25, the 30. Gets tackled just past the 35-yard line. But the ball is out. It's a fumble. Stallions are saying they have it. But there is a flag. Number 1, there's a flag. And number 2, they got to see what this is. Who has the football? Who are they giving the ball to? They're still sorting this out right now. This might be Birmingham ball, but there is a flag. We'll see what both of these are. Two guys are holding on to the ball, and they're not getting rid of it. This is wild. The initial call is it's Birmingham's ball after the fumble. That's what they just said. Recovered by the kicking team. That's Birmingham. How do we watch the other game? If you have a Fox Sports app account, you can watch both games on the Fox Sports app. That is the only way to really watch it illegally. Or legally, I should say. So if you have a Fox Sports app account, or a Fox Sports app, you can watch it there. That's, of course, the Houston versus Michigan game. It will be great to see a new team win it for sure. I do agree with that. They need a 5-yard run. Careful word choice. Yeah. Absolutely wild. Birmingham gets the ball back here. Again, showing the replay. Clearly a punch out. Great peanut punch right there. And because of how it looks on the initial replay, it's important to note the call in the field, if it is in fact Birmingham ball, which they initially said, you have to have a clear and obvious review that it's St. Louis ball, which from what was initially shown, it's going to be pretty tough to say that. So let's see. Dean saying it was a fumble. Illegal block, they're able to call that off. It's Birmingham ball. Like I said, the call on the field is what mattered. Essentially, from what it looks like, there's almost no way to use a review or a replay to give that to the other team. Whoever got that call on the field is going to get it. It's Birmingham ball at the 36-yard line. Rush up the middle. Going to be about a 7.5-yard rush for Birmingham. Sup, T-Dog. Not feeling well, got bronchitis. Dude, that sucks. Yeah, Battlehawks, not good. Just fumbled that return, giving the ball to the Stallions. Not good. 1-10 at the 50 for Michigan. I don't know if St. Louis can come back like this. Yeah, I mean, if Birmingham is able to get another touchdown here, it's going to be rough. If they can get another touchdown, it's going to be hard for St. Louis to come back. 2nd and 3 for Birmingham. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Or 1 to the left, 1 player on both sides of Jamar. Quick pass to the right. It is an incomplete pass. The route just didn't end up looking like it was going to work. It looked like Jace was supposed to break up early. Wasn't able to do that. Not good. I mean, to be fair, Duggan has only had 3 plays as offense. He had 1 really solid pass that was about a yard too shy of a throw, but really could only be a little bit better of a throw. Overall, though, it's just, I mean, they went 3 and out, and then they turned the ball over, so it's hard to judge exactly how well Max Duggan's been playing so far. Because he had 1 deep shot to Pearson, where if he threw it a little bit harder, it would have been a potential touchdown. But it's hard to fault him because it was still a catchable pass. It just wasn't perfect like Jamar's throw was to Deion Kane. Ball is snapped. Deion Kane, or they fake the handoff. Jamar rushes it. Depending on the spot, they might give him the first down here, 3rd and 3. Let's see. Depending on where they spot, this is going to be really good for Birmingham. If they get this first down, they can try and get another touchdown. If not, kick the field goal, make it 9-0. It is going to be 4th down. I would kick this. Yep, I like this decision to kick it. Kicking it here is a good decision. This is one of those free drives. You just got a legit free drive from a fumble. I know a lot of people would say go for it on 4th down, and normally in this scenario I would because it'd be less than 4th and a yard. But you got a free drive, get 3 points on the board, you'll get 9-0. Kick is up, it is good. 44-yarder, 9-0 Birmingham over St. Louis with 8 minutes and 50 seconds left in the game. Yes, so on the return, the Battlehawks, the Stallions just peanut punched the ball out of the Battlehawks returner, and then they picked it up. So, just quick fumble, gave them the ball right there. Is Michigan the best team in the league, or who can really beat them? We're going to see a lot of exactly how good that team is today against Houston. If they end up making it either a super close game or end up getting the W over Houston, it pretty much guarantees they're the best team, considering they're not playing Bryce Perkins, who was out for this game. So if they're able to get this W on Houston today, it pretty much solidifies them as the best team in the league. But we'll have to see exactly if they can get that W. Because if they lose, unless it's like a 3-point loss, then it's a question mark. But we'll see. Because again, Houston without Bryce Perkins, it's going to be a very telling game to see exactly how good Michigan really is. Because Michigan with Bryce Perkins as the full-time player is undefeated. They have not lost with Bryce Perkins being the guy. Their only 2 losses were when Danny Etling did see the field. And not just because of injury, which we have seen one time where Perkins was out for like a couple plays, obviously. Sup, Mole10, are you streaming the Michigan game? I am not. If you are not watching it at the moment, you are able to put on the Fox Sports app. And if you have an account, you can watch both this game between the Battlehawks and the Stallions, as well as the Roughnecks versus Michigan. Though we do have a couple guys in chat. Jordan Love Glazer and Adam are keeping up with both games in the chat. So yeah. Because of course that game is going on right now as well. Let's go to Twitter World and not updating. Let's go. Okay, so Twitter might be down again. Wouldn't be shocked. There's 2 at once, yes. So this is the first and only regional broadcast game of the season. I believe most of the country is getting this game, the Battlehawks Stallions, but then some people are obviously getting Houston, Michigan, if you're in the Houston, Michigan area. Mainly because of the fact there's just not enough room on TV for them to have a certain game on during the time, so they're doing this. Now, of course, this is also something that is just a look into the future, because when the league does expand, expect to get a regional broadcast game every single week. This is the first one this season. Yes, last year there was 3 regional broadcasts. This year there was only this one. So it was a big improvement from last year where we did have 3 of them. But yes, we have 2 games going on at the same time right now. First time during the season, and hopefully the last time during the season, which it is obviously, but we'll see how next year does. You know, if they do in fact expand, we'll see. I don't remember happening very often. Yeah, last year only happened 3 times, and this year this is the first time that's happened, so it is important to note that, but we'll see. You know, we'll see how it goes whenever the league does expand. If they add 2 teams, have a 5th game in the season, we'll see. Why was Perkins declared out? From what I saw, it looks like they're calling it an ankle injury. I wouldn't be shocked if he's dealing with a couple of minor injuries from a lot of the runs he's been doing, especially like that hurdle he had against the Renegades may have hurt his ankle or something. And they're just trying to kind of protect him. We obviously saw last year against Birmingham how not having him really affected that game against Birmingham in the playoffs. So they might be trying to kind of keep him healthy in that sense. But it definitely is wild that he's not playing a game where if you win, you make the playoffs. Because if you're Nolan, you should have played Perkins, because if you win this game against Houston, you could legitimately sit Perkins the next 2 weeks to keep him healthy, and it's completely fine because you're guaranteed to make the playoffs. Instead, you rest him this week. Now you have Danny Etling playing. Yikes. Yeah. Blows up all our parlays. Yeah, especially because it came out like so late. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure it literally came out like right before the game, which is wild. Yeah, I agree. They're giving him rest, even though they should have waited till next week. Win this game against Houston, lock a playoff spot, and then put it later. First down for St. Louis. Quick throw to the right is going to be caught up to the 40, up to the 45. Tackled out of bounds about the 47-ish yard line. First down, St. Louis. 3-0 is the score. Houston over Michigan showing at the bottom right now. 2 minutes, 44 seconds left in the first quarter. Going a lot faster than this game is. After week 7, here are my handicap scores. Let me know. Panthers, 35.5. Hawks 31. Defenders, 30.5. Stallions, 25. We'll update today. It didn't paste over from XL. Bruh. Good old XL. The fake punt by Michigan ended up working. Wow, that's actually great. Michigan, I've talked about it before, they historically did do a lot of those fake punts. Not sure like they did here. It's going to be a run, and it's going to be about a 2-yard gain for St. Louis and Jacob Sailors. So we'll see. It is currently 3-0 Houston over Michigan. Michigan just did a fake punt and ended up working because of a DPI penalty. So they are keeping their drive alive, trying to get a touchdown. So we'll see what ends up happening. Houston going to win today, calling it right now, and Michigan doesn't have Perkins if they lose. Yeah, but I mean, man, if somehow Michigan ends up getting the W, it's going to be huge for Bryce. It's going to be huge for that team, though. It's going to hurt Bryce Perkins' MVP odds for sure. 2nd and 7 for the Battlehawks. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Looks to the middle of the field. Throws it deep to the right. It is going to be incomplete, out of bounds. They're throwing a flag, which I'm going to be honest, I would like to see a replay because I don't know if that ball was actually catchable. If it was catchable, if he were to, lean out, then yes, it's definitely a DPI. But if it's an uncatchable ball, it's a bit hard to call, but it's going to be DPI on Birmingham. Automatic first down for St. Louis. Big break for the Battlehawks there. 2nd and goal from the 5 for Michigan. Pretty initial defensive holding. Little bit of PI right there. Yeah, that was not a great throw by Duggan. That was definitely a poor throw by Duggan. Was definitely uncatchable. If they called that defensive holding for sure, pass interference, nah. 1st and 10 for the Battlehawks at the 35-yard line, just past it. Duggan is in shotgun, ball snap, fake the handoff, looks to his left, looks to the middle of the field, quick throws it out to Sailors, that is incomplete. A horrible throw. It looked like he was trying to do the check down to Sailors, and he ended up just wildly overthrowing it. He's lucky that didn't get intercepted. That was definitely a poor throw by Duggan right there. Again, they only need to get about 5 yards. Rodrigo Blankenship has been the best kicker in the league this season. So as long as you don't turn the ball over, get a little bit of yards, it's going to be great. So we'll see. Yeah, DPI, definitely not. But defensive holding, I could see that. Especially because it was uncatchable. 2nd and 10 for the Battlehawks. Ball is snapped. It's a bad snap. It goes over Duggan's head. Rolls out to his left. He's got to throw this ball away. And he does, but there is a flag. Good throwaway by Mad Max right there. That was almost a delay of game penalty, but let's see what this is. They might have jumped off sides. This could be bad. Let's see. Look, there's some sort of mic issue right now. Offsides in the defense, so they got a big break there. Even then, they would have still been really solid. 2nd down, but they gained 5 yards. They get to replay that. Again, that was overall what you want to see from Duggan, even though it didn't end up mattering. Him being able to throw the ball away was good. Duggan has a flaw that most high school QBs have, is that he never ready throws the ball down to his upper chest stomach. It's like going, well, Manning's talking about all the time. Well, the big thing is his throwing motion, because his throwing motion isn't a, throw. It's like the Phillip Rivers throwing motion, where he, puts his whole arm around to throw it. There's a reason only Phillip Rivers has ever used that really successfully, because when you have that super long throwing motion, it just is insanely clunky and just wild. 2nd and 5. Perkins throws it to the left, or Duggan throws it to the left. It's going to be incomplete. 3rd and 5. How long is Perkins out? Probably just this week. Considering the fact that I don't remember him seeing too much in the depth stuff, I think they're just kind of giving him a rest this week. I would imagine it's only this week. What if Brian Lewerke playing for the Stallions? That would be pretty wild. Yes, Perkins is out for the Panthers today. He is straight up out, not able to play the game. Listed as an ankle injury. Let's see what the Battlehawks can do here. Again, 3rd and 5. Are in field goal range. You just can't turn the ball over. Ball is snapped. Duggan looks to the middle of the field, looks to his left. Gets pressured, rolls up. He's going to just dive for about a 1-yard loss. You would have liked him to have done something earlier, but there is a flag. Let's see what this flag is. This could be big. This could be a big flag. Looks like he's going to be a flag on the defense, potentially. They might go for it here. Because it's going to... I don't know if they're going to get the first down, though. Because he lost a yard, they shouldn't. So this is going to be about a 4th and 1 if they want to go for it. How screws Michigan if they lose? Yeah, it's like T-Dog saying. The only way Michigan misses the playoffs is if Houston wins out, pretty much. So as long as Michigan beats Houston one time, they're fine. So it hurts, but it doesn't necessarily give them, a guaranteed L. So it would hurt, but it's not like it's the worst thing in the world. Touchdown, Michigan. Love to see that. Danny with the touchdown. First, and they did give him the first down. I'm not really a fan of them giving the first down. They lost about a yard. It was supposed to be tacked on. But a big run for Jacob Sailors. Gets about 8.5 yards on the carry. Very solid run for the Battlehawks right there. I decided I can't stand Duggan. Yeah, I know that throwing motion itself is such a big issue. Like, I know a lot of people have their issues with Manny Wilkins. At the end of the day, both quarterbacks are great rushers, but Manny Wilkins, how inconsistent he was in terms of accuracy, he still was a more traditional thrower than Duggan's wild throwing motion, which, yeah. 2nd one for the Battlehawks. 3 receivers to the left. Running back to his left as well. Handed off. It's a first down, Jacob Sailors. He's still on his feet. Gets about another 4 yards. Very solid rush. About a 5-yard run for the Battlehawks on 2nd and 1. First down, St. Louis. Big play for the Sailors right there on the ground. Trying to get a touchdown. Like I said, the Battlehawks have not been able to put up more than 20 points aside from one time, so it'll be big. 1 point attempt is good, so Michigan is up 7-3 over Houston. Again, if Michigan wins, it clinches both Birmingham and Michigan for a playoff spot. And because Ford Field cannot host a playoff game, it means the home game will be in Birmingham. Quick little pitch off, and it's going to be to the left. Gets about 4 yards in the carry. Yes, initial reports were that expansion would be after this season. We will know pretty much for sure at the championship game. It has been heavily theorized that they're going to announce at the championship game. So if they don't announce it there, we might not get it. But in theory, odds are it's about like a 70% chance of expansion. They're going to announce it at the championship game. Quick, accurate throws get you paid 100%. It's definitely a big issue with Duggan and his throwing motion. Again, it's the biggest issue with that long one. You can't make quick throws if your motion takes like a full second to do, over a second, to do this instead of just that. It's a big deal. It definitely hurts Duggan. 2 receivers to the left, 3 to the right. It's a QB draw. He goes to the right, and he gets the touchdown. Max Duggan runs it in for the touchdown. It's the big reason they ended up getting rid of A.J. McCarron was because of both Duggan and, of course, Manny Wilkins' ability to run the football. Passing might not be great, but because of their rushing ability, and they just used it right there. Duggan rushes it for the touchdown, 9-6, Birmingham over St. Louis. Why can't Ford Field host a playoff game? The big reason is it was talked about by James Larson, I believe, and Andrew Miller, some people, is because of the fact UFL is viewed as like a Tier 2 or Tier 3, I believe it might be Tier 3 overall venue availability as like the host of the place, to where they're not going to give you open spots for something that might not happen, like a playoff game where it's not guaranteed. So for a place like Ford Field, they're going to have other concerts, other events booked instead. So they book those things instead, and ends up screwing them over. DC can't host themselves because of the fact they have a lot of World Cup stuff going on as well, which makes it to where DC can't host. So both DC and Houston and Michigan cannot host a playoff game this year. Skip Holtz is challenging for hands to the face on St. Louis. If this works, it will get rid of the touchdown. Let's see if he can get this one. Skip Holtz, the super challenge has been a battle this year, but let's see if he gets this one. Showing the replay. That angle does not really show it. Looks like this is going to be a good challenge. Looks like St. Louis is going to lose the touchdown. So how does Michigan get a home game? They will be against the Birmingham crowd as the home team. Can't they use something else? The league pretty much just really wants to at least try and guarantee as much home teams as possible for their main stadiums and about money and stuff. It's just a matter of cost cutting and money stuff. So, yeah, I mean, we saw it last year. Even if Michigan had gotten the 1 seed last year, the game would have been in Birmingham, and it's happening again this year, which sucks, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, if two teams are going to come back, it would be the Breakers and the Dragons ahead of the Maulers and Guardians. I'd love to see the Maulers come back, but Breakers will definitely get the edge. They're going to give one of them. But the challenge is going to be successful, so that touchdown is going to be taken off the board, and it's going to be a penalty against St. Louis. Really good super challenge from Skip Holtz. Again, historically, it's been very off this year, but big one. big challenge right there by Skip Holtz getting that successful. It was pretty clearly hands to the face. He literally shoved off the dude's helmet. I mean, you can't get more hands to the face than that one. Who would want the Breakers to return? I mean, who would want to go back to the Breakers? I think you still have a few guys who were on Memphis who were part of that Breakers team. Wes Hills, of course, was really good in that team back then. And then a lot of things like that, I think it's a pretty big deal. Like, I think there's definitely a few that could. I know a lot of the guys aren't in for sure, but Wes Hills definitely could. Say Trout might come out or something. You know, there's a few guys you could. But, I mean, a lot of teams, like even the Guardians, don't really have that many that would go back. I mean, when it comes to going back, there's only a couple teams that can really feel that. 2nd and 10 for the Battlehawks after the penalty. It's a little bit more than 2nd and 10. Ball is snapped. Runs up the middle. It's a QB draw. Gets to the 5. And it's a touchdown anyway, so it's still 9-6. He rushes straight in for the touchdown. Absolutely wild. When you talk about the 800-pound gorilla, the UFL never being able to celebrate anything because the challenge sucks. I like the challenge in theory, but in reality, it really sucks. I mean, it's a matter of calling it right. I know some people talk about it, but it's one of those things where it's like in a lot of cases, if you can just score like right there. I mean, the Battlehawks were able to just do a QB draw right after they just had a quarterback run and they get a touchdown. Pretty big. I mean, it's a big deal. So, I mean, I like having the challenge in it. I know it's a big difference from having the 1 versus the 2. Because the big difference when you had the 1, you basically always saved it to the end. So I know some would argue that the way they have the 2 is a bit weird, but overall I'm perfectly fine with it being the way it is. I think that, you know, at the end of the day, it's about trying to play right and making, you know, no penalties, don't make mistakes, a lot of that. Run up the middle is going to be unsuccessful, potentially. Is going to be failed. So Michigan is going to have no home crowd. They get a home game. What's the point of that for Michigan? Really none. I mean, that's what I was talking about earlier with the Bryce Perkins situation. It's why, like, if you're resting Perkins legitimately, why you should have played him today, get the win over Houston, then you have 2 games of rest where you can just rest Perkins that really don't matter, just play him a little bit in week 10. I mean, I don't know for sure how it works, because last year we didn't deal with it, but I would imagine the 1 seed gets the chance to defer, because that's what ends up being the only real home field advantage, aside from the crowd, is that you get the choice to defer, get the ball first. So that would be the only real benefit. So if you're Michigan, I feel like you should just, you know, you should have just tried to win this game to where you'd have 2 weeks where you're not doing something. Wes Hills, Jay Adams, yes. Jay Adams for sure definitely would go back there. As the Breakers and Dragons, I would like to see Stars come back. Love to see it. But I don't see how you get around the inherent of not being able to ever celebrate a score, because you know if there is any penalty, it's coming back, and there always a penalty. As coach, get better with it. Trust me. There's only these challenges, scores once everyone learns. It's definitely going to be a question of what they do, because the fact there is the 2 super challenges. Because the issue we saw last year was a lot of coaches would end up holding a challenge to the very end, to where there would be the very obvious penalty calls or no calls that should have been called, where a coach would end up not throwing it. So that's what the big issue is with the super challenge, is the fact that if you only have the 1, you make it to where you inherently never should use it in the first really 40 minutes of the game, to where you could have somebody do a total penalty, like your quarterback gets hit like 5 seconds after the play and the refs just don't see it or something, and you just don't throw it because you're like, it's not going to work. So, but then if you have the 2 of them, it's like what I know Anthony Miller was talking about it on X, where you end up having it where if you use the first one successfully, you can potentially get rid of 2 separate scores. So there's definitely a lot of things to fine-tune about it, I would say is the best way to put it. Will be very interesting to see exactly what they do. Because I know some people really hate it, some really like it. It'll be very interesting to see exactly what they end up doing. I think a lot of it also ends up being on exactly how much the replay booth does by itself. Because after the whole Renegades Stallions debacle, has anyone really noticed the replay command center getting involved in a lot of games in the 2-minute drill? Not as much. So when you see it in that regard, it's a lot of fine-tuning all of those things. So we'll definitely have to wait and see about that. Because if they end up making it to where in the last 2 minutes the replay booth really does have an impact, then it could incentivize coaches to either challenge earlier in the game, which could go back to the 1. It'll be very interesting to see for sure. Agreed. I mean, the OG USFL right made the 2-point conversion, and that's what ended up going to the NFL. A lot of stuff like that is what you really love to see. You know, when it comes to that, being able to do new things is definitely a good thing about being a spring league. We love seeing that. Arlington puts belt to Ash's Battlehawks. I mean, St. Louis won the second matchup, and they should have won the first one. You know, Manny doesn't tear his Achilles and fumble the ball. And then if it was not a pick six at the very end of the game, they handed the ball off to Sailors. I mean, Dan does all the challenges by himself. That is a problem. I think you're talking about Dean. Well, I mean, it's mainly supposed to be the one guy doing the stuff, but, like, the big issues that they say in 2-minute warning when there's or 5 minutes, I believe, when there's something obvious, it gets recalled by the replay booth, but after the Arlington game, we really haven't seen that a lot, so it's pretty wild. I think it's funny that the hopes and dreams of every call is in the hands of a boomer with an Xbox controller. What a world we live in. It is great. It really is pretty good for sure. Let's see what St. Louis does here again. They're going to kick this one off to Birmingham. It is 9-6. Still in the first quarter. Very slow game so far. Pretty wild. Ben DiNucci, you want to go back to the Sea Dragons? I don't know. DiNucci seems like he doesn't want to come back to spring football. Seems like he's just going to be in the NFL and not. Ja'Cour Pearson definitely could. Some of them could. Larry Fedor, I don't think he would. I don't think he'd come back. Returns up to the 30. Gets to about the 35-yard line. Big return for Birmingham. Again, very slow game so far, especially compared to the Houston game, which has gone by pretty fast, all things considered. I mean, that game is already in the second quarter. And it's already been a couple minutes in the second quarter, whereas this game, not as much. Andrew Peasley played a little bit, then got hurt. Absolutely wild how many quarterbacks. 5 quarterbacks, all because of injury, is insanely wild. Games played this season, showing them all. Let's see what they do. 1st and 10 for the Stallions. In shotgun again, using the formation, having 2 guys in the backfield with Jamar. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. They fake the handoff, but Jamar ends up fumbling it. It looks like it was going to be a triple option play, but instead he ends up kind of mismanaging the handoff, and it's going to be about a 3-yard loss for the Stallions. Skip is a bit upset about that. Not too shocked. Again, looked like it was trying to be a triple option play. Jamar was going to hold on to the ball. Instead, ends up being a loss of about 3 yards because he dropped the ball. Not a good look for the Stallions on their first play. 2nd and 13. A little over 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Ooh, that's a false start, it looks like. Yep, that's a clear false start in the left tackle right there. Five-yard penalty on the Stallions. 2nd and 18. Again, that was a very obvious false start right there. Bad penalty. This is 2nd and 18 now for the Stallions. Let's see what they can do here. 2nd and 18, under 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter. 9-6 is still the score. 4 penalties for 30 yards on Birmingham. Really rough. Again, penalties have killed a lot of teams this season. Let's see what they do here. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 2 guys in the backfield motioning, 1 of them to the left. Ball snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Scrambling to his left. There's a little dump off to CJ Maribel, who gets to about the 32-ish yard line. So, maybe gets about 4 yards back on that play. Going to be a very long 3rd down. Again, if St. Louis can stop them here, get the ball back, they can potentially take back the lead if they get a touchdown, or at least tie it with Rodrigo Blankenship. So let's see what they end up doing here. 3rd and 13 for the Stallions. Jamar is now 2 of 4 for 70 yards with, of course, the 160-plus yard TD pass to Deion Kane earlier in the game. Let's see. Again, 2 guys in the backfield with Jamar. Been doing that almost every single play. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Ball snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Looks to his left. Scrambling. And he takes the sack. A bad sack to take by Jamar. It's a 7-yard loss, but the ball might be out. Let's see. St. Louis is saying they have the ball. I don't think they called it a fumble, though. Okay, so they're saying that it is not a fumble, so it is going to be just 4th down. Stallions are going to punt this away. Yeah, he was down, so it is not a fumble, but it is still going to be about a 4 or 5 yard loss. 4th down, going to be a 4th and 20, punt for Birmingham. Great play by the St. Louis Battlehawks defense. Again, made use. When the offense makes a mistake, you have to do something yourself, and that's what they did. Birmingham made a big mistake, and they ended up cashing out. Punt is up. It is going to be returned initially at about the 32-yard line. Cuts to the right, gets to the 40, and goes down about the 41-yard line. So St. Louis is going to get the ball within about 20 yards from the field goal range, but there is a flag. Let's see what this flag is. Cook should go back to Stars. Chris Rowland, I agreed. Ooh, probably. He might want to stick with the defenders we could. CJ Marable, I don't know about that. I think Bartenders could return, but CJ Marable means a Stallions lifer. He's one of the all-time Stallions. He definitely wouldn't leave. Holding on the receiving team. So they're going to lose some yardage. That would have been a really good one, but instead it's not. Panther returned to the 1-yard line. Wow. That is insane. The market isn't there for the area of the Stars. The cost of the team would be way too high. I mean, the only place that's fully the case is definitely California, but yeah. Love your stream channel, by the way, Zomb. Keep it up. You're a real one. I appreciate how much you analyze the game like I do. Thank you, thank you. I mean, it's always fun to do these streams. When we started them last year, that first tank bowl between the Roughnecks and the Renegades got the iconic line from Curtis Johnson, the best offense in the league. It's always fun. Did Houston F the ball? Top 10 player of the year for the Panthers. That's insanely wild. Return to the 1-yard line. Danny, touchdown. Michigan taking the lead. Michigan might be able to pull off this W anyway without Bryce Perkins. Again, that's going to hurt Bryce Perkins' MVP case, but I mean, hey, if you're Michigan, you don't care. You just want to get into the playoffs. You win this game, you're a guaranteed playoff team. You clinch a playoff berth, and you eliminate Houston at the same time. Oh, I just realized, man, if these teams all clinch, I'm going to have so many videos to make this week. Oh, it's going to be rough. But you know what? It is what it is. To the Generals, I honestly couldn't think of that many because I think DeAndre Johnson's probably kind of out of it. He might come back, though. Victor could. Darius Victor definitely could. T-Will might, like Trey Williams. A couple other guys could, but I can't see a ton off the top of my head. First, 1 of 3 on third downs for Houston. Oof. 1 point is good, so it is 14-3. Michigan over Houston in the second quarter. So Michigan might end up pulling off the W there. That would be, of course, a huge win for them if they end up getting it. So we'll see. I mean, a Michigan win, man, it'd be huge for them. Get them into the playoffs guaranteed. You love to see that if you're them. Look at this one because, I mean, I thought it was going to be a close game, but wouldn't be too shocked if it ends up not being a close game. Go Panthers. Absolutely love to see it right there for the Panthers. Getting that W would be insane. So is Twitter, like, down? I mean, is it just down? What do you mean sign in? Oh, my goodness. Making me sign in? Is that why it wasn't working? That's why it wasn't working. Needed me to sign in for some reason. Like, come on. Yeah, UFM just posted about how the initial depth chart did have Perkins as the starter, and then he ended up getting taken out immediately, so yeah. I love how other people are saying that, and then unironically he's playing his ass off, which is hilarious. Go over there, see what's there. There was a login on a new device. This is the same device I always use. This ain't no new device. Oh my goodness, dude. Sometimes Twitter, man. Panthers were down 3-0 with 14 unanswered so far. Roughnecks really should have been a 4-3 and be on the hunt. Yeah, that loss to Birmingham last week was embarrassing. Them choking that lead was insane. Snap to Duggan. Quick little throw to Saylor or to Pearson, who gets tackled for about a 3-yard loss. Not a great first down play for the Battlehawks. Anytime we're signing up anything, how the hell do we not have found anything better passwords? No, the worst about passwords is how, like, every single site has their own random password. Like, you'll have, like, the most government-forced password, like your bank account, or, like, if you're a student, like your FAFSA account or something like that, and your password will literally be, like, just using uppercase and lowercase letters. 5 wide for the Battlehawks. Duggan is in shotgun. Last play of the first quarter, more than likely. Ball is snapped. Duggan looks to the right, looks to the middle of the field. Scrambles to his right. No flag. Still running to his right. Evades another sack. He's going to run for it, but gets about 4 yards in the carry. But then you'll, like, have an account for, like, Twitter or an account for, like, some random site that's just, like, a basic one. It's like, oh, have a special character. Has to be 12 characters long. Uppercase and lowercase. No sequential numbers. And it's like, dude, what? Like, why are the things that actually matter so basic with passwords? But then everything else is, like, literally a Minecraft enchanting table. Like, come on. I would say that, but he's been so much of a Renegades lifer. The only way is if he got kicked out of the team, kind of like AJ, but yeah. Playoffs will expand next year. I read some article about the UFL wanting to expand this year, but it got denied. And I understand why they wanted to. I would assume the article was about the government forced expansion kind of thing about last year. Like, the league itself did not really want to expand from this upcoming season. Or, like, this year because of the fact there's so many issues last year. But when they do expand the playoffs, I would imagine they do, though I hope they don't. Expanding the playoffs with only 2 teams out would be pretty rough, but we'll see. He's running around trying to find QB throwing motion lessons. True. I mean, his throwing motion is wild. Like, it really is. Like, once you look at it and you look at Phillip Rivers, you realize just how absolutely wild it really is that he does what he does. 88-yard punt return for Xavier Millen. They just posted that on Twitter. Let's see. How did he get touched out of bounds? Oh, he just wasn't fast enough. Almost. That was almost insane. Houston is back in Michigan territory already. I think they should keep the playoffs format. Agreed. I would like to see them have 5 teams in each conference. Top 2 teams make the playoffs. It makes it matter more. I would definitely say it's 70-80% chance of expansion. I believe we'll know during the championship game because that's when they probably will announce it. If not, I don't know, but that's what I would say. You have to be able to instantly release the ball in the NFL. Running and instant are now legit, both mandatory, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, like, there's a reason why you only saw Phillip Rivers really do it. Like, I mean, I know I say it a lot, but it's because it's true. Like, you very rarely see anyone with a long throwing motion make it. It's similar to having large hands in the NFL, right? When you, like, Kenny Pickett, you have smaller hands. It's going to be harder to grip the football, harder to keep it on you. Like, some things that people might call trivial if you're new to football, you realize the more you actually watch how important they are. Quick throwing motion allows you to get the ball out quickly. It's a big deal. Because if you're doing, like, a 5-step drop back and you're going to your third read, you have to be able to throw that ball quickly because after 5-step drop back and after going to your third read, odds are you're about to get sacked. So would you rather be able to just throw the ball or, you know, like when you compare it, it's no contest. And it's why having a quick release is such a big deal. They eventually expanded 16 teams. Yeah, if they go to 16 teams, I'd like to. Like I said, the best format would be to where like a 1 seed gets a first round bye and the 2 and 3 seeds play each other and the winner plays the 1 seed. That's what I would do the most expansion. 5 or 6 teams make is the most I'd want to see. If the Battlehawks win, will they clinch, and who will win the playoffs? So the clinching scenarios for this week: if Michigan beats Houston, Birmingham and Michigan clinch a playoff berth. If St. Louis wins and DC beats Arlington, both DC and St. Louis clinch a playoff berth. If DC wins and St. Louis loses, DC clinches a playoff spot, but St. Louis doesn't. Wow, looks like there might have been a super challenge by Beck that didn't work. Let's see. Yeah, Beck is pissed off about it. He looks unhappy, but I agree. It was a pretty soft one to call since he was still running. Didn't really affect him at all. I do understand that. But yeah, so St. Louis is out of challenges for the rest of the game. They used the challenge to try and get a face mask penalty against the Stallions. It did not work. So Birmingham is down to 1 challenge, and the Battlehawks are now out of challenges. No challenges for the rest of the game, and they lose a timeout. This is the first play of the second quarter. Again, very slow game so far, so let's see. Ball is snapped. Duggan gets pressured, and it's a sack on 3rd down. They're going to force the punt. Massive play by the Stallions defense right there. Being a QB in a professional league, it's legit so difficult. It's actually one of the most significant limiters of other leagues existing. It limited the XFL. Who'll be the teams added? There's been a lot of random reports, but nobody knows for sure. Initially, Columbus and Louisville were the 2 favorites, but you never really know until it actually ends up happening. Wow, thank you, Gmail, for saying I got a new login. Didn't know that. 1-point attempt fails, not too shocked. I mean, it is true. Being a quarterback, I mean, it is overpaid in the NFL. Like, quarterbacks do not deserve the money they get paid. But it is an insanely tough position to play because there's so much you have to do. It's about knowing everything, being able to read your routes, being able to know how to move your head but not make it obvious where you're throwing. Because when people talk about with, like, younger quarterbacks, the big issue is they will stare down their receivers, where it becomes insanely easy for a defender to pick them off. So being able to quickly move your eyes as well as move your head quickly is such a big deal. It's another very minuscule thing that somebody new to football wouldn't really see, but once you know, you realize it's such a big deal for quarterbacks. But again, like I said before, being QB is hard as hell. I mean, hey, Duggan was a Heisman finalist. I know college is a bit different, but yeah. I am not streaming tomorrow's game. Taking a pretty good break tomorrow. Because honestly, depending on how today goes, I might have to already start making videos about teams making the playoffs and being eliminated. So, gonna have to use all the time I can to do stuff like that. So I'll probably be watching the game and then doing video work tomorrow. Because I also have the Tank Bowl video. I got a lot I might have to do. GMO's just trying to help. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. JMR gets pressure. He fumbles the ball. It's picked up by St. Louis. They're going to the 20, the 15. They get tackled about the 13. He might still be up. He's either going to be down to the 13 or he's going to be down to the 7-yard line. Initial call is the 7. Peta took the fumble. Feeney caused the fumble, and Peta took it and got there. Huge break for St. Louis. They're going to get the ball in the red zone immediately. Insane for them right there. Wow, that was a clear fumble and fumble recovery. There's no reviewing that one right there. That was a fumble on Jamar Smith. Showing this replay, Travis Feeney, man, Battlehawks legend, just fumbles, causes that fumble, and Peta picks it up and keeps running. Gets tripped up, keeps moving, gets tripped again, keeps moving. There's not going to be any team that ever gets disbanded. The only thing they would do would be moving them, though by the looks of their season tickets, they're not doing that either this year. Debatable, which we'll talk about at the end of the year, but that's what it looks like. First and goal at the 7-yard line for St. Louis. Max is in shotgun. Running back to his left in the backfield with him. Ball is snapped. Hands it off to Sailors, who cuts in the middle. And gets a solid 4 yards in the ground. Again, the biggest issue a few weeks ago against Arlington in their first matchup was that in the red zone they did not hand the ball off to Sailors. You got to start handing the ball off to Sailors more, so hopefully they keep doing that here. Absolutely wild play by the Battlehawks. If the Battlehawks win this is play of the game. It probably will be. That was an insanely good play right there. Ooh, there's a penalty on the Battlehawks, though. It looks like it's going to be a 5-yard penalty on illegal formation. They're going to lose the gain and lose 5 yards. Again, it's still field goal range to tie it, but losing it. Like I said earlier, unless you get to 4th and goal at literally the 1-yard line, no matter what, I would kick this ball. Just like with the Stallions earlier, this is a drive that you have to view you did not expect to get. So if you can at least get a field goal, you take it. You just can't turn the ball over here. Anything else is fine. You just can't turn it over. They really did just rob it right out of JMR for sure, Gary. That's definitely what happened. Ball is snapped, handed off, or fake the handoff. Max runs, gets to the 5. He dives, he gets the touchdown. Max with another rushing touchdown. They might be called out of bounds at the 1, but it's called a touchdown. Max has 2 touchdowns on the ground. It is now 9 Birmingham, 12 St. Louis. St. Louis has the lead. Arlington can make the playoffs. If Arlington ends up beating both the Defenders and their Week 10 divisional matchup, and the Battlehawks or Defenders lose out, they can make it. There's also a way Arlington can win out, and then St. Louis and Birmingham can, or St. Louis and DC can lose a different game. Basically, Arlington, they have 2 conference matchups left. They need to win both of those matchups and have St. Louis or DC lose out. That's the easiest way for Arlington to make the playoffs, which is tough because Week 10 is DC versus St. Louis. Meaning that if you're Arlington, you hope DC or St. Louis goes 0-2 this week and next week, which then makes that game not even matter. Quick throw to Sailors. It is good. It is 13 St. Louis and 9 Birmingham. A couple of weeks. I mean, I could, but historically, I always like to post them during that same week. So, because I'm definitely going to be doing some double uploads this week, because the playoff videos usually are easier to make. It's just a matter of making that many. Because obviously we'd have power rankings on Monday, week review on Wednesday, or on Tuesday. So Wednesday so Tank Bowl would probably come out on Wednesday, or it would come out tomorrow. If I can get the Tank Bowl out on Monday or something, it'd be good. It depends, because if everything goes that way, that's 6 videos, double upload, that'd be 1, 2, that's 4, double upload there, that's down to 2. Then I have the double upload. I could do it. I could double upload every single day for this week if I have to. Sup, little Cam community here right there. Our community member right there. Absolutely wild. The Battlehawks getting that lead now. It's insane. Houston actually has Houston, believe it or not, controls their own destiny. If Houston wins out, they make the playoffs. Like, they could beat either Birmingham or Houston or Michigan for that spot, but if Houston wins out, they clinch a playoff spot guaranteed. It's wild that that's the case, but it's true. If they win out, they're a playoff team. Though obviously they have to actually win out, right? It's like the joke. The toughest thing for them is to just win their games. Duggan is simply a decent running back under center. We're Michigan, RB, and Danny Elling the same stats right now. Oh my goodness. Max Duggan running in the ball all this time, absolutely wild. Wow, Birmingham a minute ago posted defenses rolling, and then just like that, dude, the Battlehawks posted the fumble first. Oh, it's great. I know technically St. Louis had the ball, but still. Real Madrid, get off my feed. Your team choked this year. You shouldn't have spent all the money on Mbappe. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Burned the whole place down. Went from winning like 3 trophies every year to not even winning one. Oh my god. The Battlehawks lose to DC twice in the regular season and in the playoffs, and it comes to a one-sided rivalry. I mean, hey, people said the Stallions Breakers was a rivalry, and the Stallions were like 6-0 against them. So, you know what I mean? It's like that classic quote: "Is it really a rivalry? They kick our ass every time." What is happening in the Michigan game? Who will lead in the half? At the moment, it looks like Michigan still is probably going to have the lead, but we'll see. I mean, at the exact moment, it is 14-9. Hold up. Wait a minute. I got an idea. Panthers versus Roughnecks. Fox Sports. Not that, not that, not that. TV watch on Fox. X that. Go over here. OBS. Michigan, Houston. Post that there. Oh, I'm getting good. Close that out a bit. Gotta close it out some more. Go over here. Extend that out a bit more. There we go. We love to see that. There we go, chat. Massive W right there. Alright. Now we got both of them pulled up. Though, do note that I think that because of how it works, it's going to be very awkward in a sense that only one of these is really going to track normally. So, so it's going to be weird, but they're both there. What do you think about the tornadoes in the city? It definitely sucks to hear about that. I didn't hear about that until earlier this morning when I woke up and saw that, and it really is awful to see. It's why I really do hope the St. Louis ends up pulling off this W, because it's always good when you have something like a local team get a W, right? We all know about the New Orleans, of course, with the blocked punt with Steve Gleason punt. It's always great to see that, so I hope that happens, and I hope everything gets better soon. I'm 5-1. I forgot about that one win. Or Stan's going to end up missing or Michigan because I think one misses. If one misses, it's probably Michigan because if Michigan loses to loses to Houston twice, the odds of them making the playoffs are insanely low. So, yeah. The Bitcoin price ID. Have you saw that Antonio Brown got arrested last night? No, but I'm not shocked, and I'll look that up later. You didn't follow her, brother? Thank you. I mean, it is always rough when you see stuff happen like that to St. Louis. I know Formath was talking about places where the power was out at hotels when he was trying to go. He's a community member. Or like a community person in the community. CJ Marable with a big run gets to about the 44-yard line. But he only talked about, at least from what I remember saying, there was just power outages. I didn't know it was tornadoes that ended up happening. So it is one of those things that you just hate to see, but hopefully everything gets a bit better. What's your favorite NFL play-by-play commentator? Play-by-play is honestly a bit harder for me to call initially. It would probably be one of the guys on regular CBS or Fox. Like Mike Tirico's okay, or not Mike Tirico. No, it might be. I do sometimes get people messed up. I would say it's one of those two. Ball is snapped, looks to the middle of the field, throws incomplete. 2nd and 10 for the Stallions. Stallions beats Breakers 3 down 22. They won all 3. They lost one time. Yeah, I forgot about that one when the Breakers choked during the lead in the division. So the Panthers are most likely the two teams going to playoffs, bro. The Texans are doing... Yeah, I mean, it really is the only... If St. Louis wins, can Arlington make it? Arlington still can if St. Louis wins this game. It's just a matter of if that happens, they're going to have to rely on DC losing out, essentially. Because technically, St. Louis could still miss the playoffs over it, but... Yeah, St. Louis, if they win, it doesn't really affect Arlington too much directly. Ball is snapped. Delayed handoff, run up the middle. Gets about 4 yards in the carry. Going to be about 3rd and 6 in no man's land. They might be playing for a 2-down territory here. Try to get a couple plays. We'll see, though. Battlehawks plus change the game equals soul. Oh, it's going to be insane if they make it there for sure. Kevin Harlan, the GOAT. They should start giving away tickets so we look at the community and sort the Battlehawks. That would be good to see for this team. Yes, sir. Gary, correct. Jalen McClendon, 5 of 12. Third and 6 for the Stallions. Jay Martin, shotgun, one man to his left and right in the backfield. Two receivers to his right, motioning one of the guys to his right to the left. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Quick throws over the middle. It is caught for a first down. Sternberger with the big reception gets to about the 41-yard line. The attendance won't come out till about the 3rd or 4th quarter, so we do not have that one yet. Houston finally attempting some deeper passes. Do like to see that 163 yards and a touchdown. What network should the UFL expand to? Obviously, NBC had the best coverage overall, but we'll see exactly what ends up happening with that. But that would be the one I'd like to see. Or CW, honestly, could be a good one. Does it look full, though? Not like full, but it looks better than the last game. I'd say that. It looks better than their 26,000 last week. I'll look up the stats for you, Stroud, and once we're in commercial break. It's going to be about a 4-yard gain for the Stallions. Actually, I can put it up right now. Houston Roughnecks. That's not what I wanted. Go there. Live stats. Bryce Perkins is currently... Danny Etling is 7 of 9 for 57 yards, 2 touchdowns, 78 completion percentage for a 132 passer rating, 19 yards on the ground on 4 carries. So he's actually playing pretty damn solid in wake of Perkins not being there. Ball is snapped. They rush it. It's going to be about a 3-yard gain for the Stallions. It's going to be about 3rd and 2 for Birmingham here. Should there be a Monday game when they expand to 12 teams? Yeah, it'll be tough to do Monday as well because then you would have the... As long as you make it to where no one can play on Friday after a Monday game, then you could possibly do it. But we'll see. I don't think so because DeMarcus Gates has been a lifelong Stallion player, so I would say that. Stadium looks pretty fun, but not full. Yeah, it looks pretty similar to the first couple of games, so I'd imagine attendance is probably going to be similar to that, but we'll see. 3rd and 2 for the Stallions. Under 9 minutes left in the second quarter. Ball is snapped in 5 wide. Quick throw to the right. It is going to be incomplete. Just didn't work out, but there is a flag. This might be DPI on the Battlehawks. I think NBC, I don't know much of CW. I know broadcast the ACC football. I'll pick NBC or State Trust US. CW is just trying to become a sports channel. They have a lot of college, right? They have WWE with NXT. They have, like, the Xfinity series. So they've been becoming quietly a pretty good, like, second-tier sports channel in a lot of ways. So I feel like that could be one they could go to. Because the products they have, honestly, fit very well with the UFL, right? NXT, Xfinity, a lot of the levels that are very similar to the UFL. I would like that. So penalty on the Battlehawks gives first down for the Stallions. So if Bryce's injury ends up being bad, Pants will be okay the rest of the season. I wouldn't say it'd be good, but, I mean, Danny Etling ain't going to really win you that much. This is just the best game he's had for sure. Bryce's injury doesn't look to be that terrible, but it definitely wouldn't be good if Perkins isn't there. Rush up the middle for Birmingham. It's about a 1.5-yard gain. Want Cino back in the Maulers? I would love to see that, too. Josh Simmons needs to be back in the league, too. Streaming service? I hope not. Streaming service would be terrible for the league, just because, like, the NFL, right, we've seen how much people get pissed off having to have all these streaming services, right? Peacock exclusive game, Netflix exclusive game, Amazon. Like, it's just rough. 14-9 Michigan, 2-minute warning. 2nd and 9 for the Stallions. Motioning one receiver from the left to the right, ball is snapped. It's a handoff in the middle, and the Battlehawks make a great stop initially. It's going to be about a 1-yard loss. It's going to be about 3rd and 10 for the Stallions. Do you see it coming if the league's around after 3 or 5 more years? Streaming services could kill the league. I don't think so. The only streaming service that they might do would be an ESPN Plus game, but that'd be the only one for sure. Dual scores. I figured I could just pull it up. Hopefully they both update, because I know earlier in the season there were issues where they weren't updated by themselves, but hopefully do it. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, the USFL Peacock, those games were rough. Almost nobody watched those things, just because it was on Peacock. Granted, Peacock's a lot bigger than they were before, but still. 3rd and 9, ball is snapped. Smith looks in the middle of the field, rolls to his left, evades the sack, rolls to his right. Quick throw to the right. He is caught by Jay Sternberger, gets the first down, and then about another 5 yards. Big first down play by Jay Sternberger once again. Yeah, the USFL in year 1 had like 3 or 2 games, and it was rough. Jay McClendon playing a lot better than that second half last week. But last week, that second half was really rough for him, but playing a bit better. Love to see that. I basically have Peacock just for PLEs. That's pretty much it. There's like almost nothing else I watch on Peacock. There's been like a couple of movies I watch. Jordan Tam, I want to go back to the Bandits. I don't know about that one. I think a lot of these guys have just been with their teams for like 3 years to where I wouldn't see that happening. Quick pass to the left. It looks like it might have hit the ground, though, but it might have been a backwards pass, but we'll see. Deion Kane anyway gets to the 10-yard line. I think a lot of it is if they were to get the A.J. McCarron treatment, they would definitely go back, but they wouldn't leave their current team for, is what I would say. Will Bryce Perkins go to the NFL or decides to stay in the UFL? You just get paid so much money in the NFL, even if you're like a low guy as well. So if you're Perkins and you get offered a chance to be like the 3rd stringer to like the Steelers or something, you're going to definitely take it. Because, I mean, you know, if you get a couple injuries that go your way, you could be playing another NFL game. So Perkins is probably going to go back to the NFL. We'll see. Panthers jersey 10. There are some Panthers fans with Panthers jersey 10 game. Houston, love to see that. Touchdown, Houston. So Houston makes this a 2-point game. Let's see if they can get it. Second and 10 for the Stallions. I mean, they already have a lot of Southern teams. You'd hope they don't add another, like, true South team. 2nd and 10. Though New Orleans would be the one exception to that. Quick pass to the left, again, and it's incomplete. Not a great play for them right there. So 3rd and 10 for the Stallions. Again, a field goal makes this a 1-point game, but St. Louis will still have the lead because they did get that 1-point conversion attempt successful earlier. So Birmingham would like a touchdown, of course, because St. Louis does get the ball after half, but we still have 5.5 minutes left. Again, this game is going pretty slow, but yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, the Breakers would be a Southern team, but I'd be fine with that one. Every other Southern team, I don't know about that one. 5.5 minutes left, 2 seconds left in the play clock, 1 second, 0, ball is snapped at 0. Looks to the middle of the field, gets pressured, evades the sack, still on his feet, and he gets tackled at the 0. Honestly, a lot of credit that he didn't end up losing yardage there, but he got back to the line of scrimmage, going to force the field goal, going to make this a 1-point game as long as Mevis can make this kick. Yes, I do. I don't watch pretty much SmackDown. I don't watch at all, mainly because of the UFL, but yes. Definitely need to go out west for sure. The true Northeast and California, I don't expect for a while just because of how much money for sure. The most amount of weeks I could see added realistically is 3. Kick is up in the middle. It is good. Because of the fact of when the season ends, the latest is where the USFL ended, which is 4th of July weekend. That's the absolute latest the season could end. I could see you adding up to 3 weeks. 2 regular season weeks and 1 playoff week. Aside from that, I don't think you can add anything else. I feel like all the Arena League, they have a team with a cowboy with a face cover. Like, are you all trying to be the Renegades? UFL probably won't add any more weeks until they get maybe 12, 14 teams. I mean, yeah, I mean, if they get 12, they definitely could. 10, they might even be able to still, but yeah. Houston 2-2 on field goal attempts, so it is 14-12. Michigan over Houston, right? That's the score? Yes. We have never been so back. Absolutely great for the Battlehawks this game, and pretty good for them so far. So no touchdown for Houston, but they do get the field goal. Big field goal for Blewett. Like to see that. Season long was like 51-yard. Okay. You know, it'll be interesting to see exactly. Pull those both back up. There we go. Imagine the UFL having to compete at the World Cup near the end of the Next season, ooh, yeah, don't mention that. Is there someone with you? I heard background noise randomly. Oh, that's just the what's it called? That is literally just the TV on the background. Two excellent games for sure. I mean, it is a shame how it is, but I feel like the ratings are actually going to be pretty decent. I think a lot of people always seem to underrate just how regional broadcasts can help you out, because obviously if you're in the Michigan or Houston area, you probably care about those games more, so it'll probably help, but we'll see. What do you think about the coolest XFL, UFL, USFL uniforms? In the modern era, the Maulers, both their jerseys were pretty fire. The Renegades this year, I really like their uniforms. Pretty much any AAF team had great uniforms. Even like the Iron had solid ones. That's pretty much what I would say. Those would like be the best ones. Though if you go back to the OG USFL, the Oakland Invaders, oh that light blue yellow was peak. Love the USFL Championship game 22. My family came over for some fajita, carne asada, and we were watching the USFL Championship. That game was awesome. Still the best game for sure. This was not the week to have a regional game. The only sucks that a lot of people are missing them, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, both games are really good right now. I mean, you've got two games that combine for like a 3-point difference right now. It's insane. Showing the UFL MVP race is the exact same thing they literally had like last week. Absolutely diabolical. They're showing the same graphic again. The Vegas Vipers. Hey, that stadium, man, they played it was a stadium that existed for sure. Let's see what happens here. Stallions going to kick this ball off. Again, St. Louis does get the ball at halftime, so it's a big break for them. Kick is up, returned at about the 4-yard line. Returned to the 10, the 15, the 20, the 30, and he gets tackled about the 34-yard line. No, the Dragons definitely shouldn't. I mean, that's one of the teams that you got to bring back. That's like the very top of the list of teams to bring back is the Dragons. The Dragons, not the Sea Dragons, but the Dragons. Definitely a team that you got to bring back. Again, 1-point game for the Birmingham, St. Louis, and then, of course, the Houston-Michigan game is a 2-point game without Bryce Perkins. He was out for the game because of his ankle injuries. So, yeah, he's playing horrible as a passing mode and winning because he got wheels. So we talked about earlier, him and Manny Wilkins, right? This is why they got rid of A.J. McCarron, was because of A.J.'s inability to run the football. And, I mean, hey, passing has been weak, but running is pretty good. Fake the handoff. Duggan runs to the right and gets about 4 yards in the carry, maybe even 5. If Panthers make playoffs more frequently and the UFL adds team, will forfeit let to play playoff games there. As long as the UFL keeps going and keeps growing, especially when it comes to people in attendance for the Panthers, definitely. Because as long as their attendance keeps going up, because the fact they've broken their attendance record all time 3 separate times this year is really good for Michigan. If they can keep that up, they definitely will. Dragons, because there are many types of Dragons. 2nd and 5 for the Battlehawks. Duggan in shotgun, 1 receiver to his left, 1 to his right. Ball is snapped. Handed off to Sailors, who gets tackled at the line of scrimmage for a no gain. Under 4 minutes left in the second quarter now. No, I think it was one of those changes that had like no real point to be made. Like you had the Seattle Dragons, you changed it to the Sea Dragons, and you kind of dumbed down the logo to make it this very simple one. I just wasn't a fan of that. So go back to the Dragons with the OG logo. Would love to see that. Sorry, tuned in late. Sure you addressed it. Why the 2 games at the same time? Mainly because of certain scheduling things for both the Fox and ABC, right? Tomorrow, the only time Fox would be able to have a game on is like the same time that ABC has their game on, which they wouldn't do. Run to the right is going to be tackled for a loss, so it's going to force the punt. So it's a matter of just when they have time, because it's like IndyCar stuff today, and I think other coverage for Fox and ABC obviously has stuff going on as well, with like the WNBA. So, because of that, they had to have a regional broadcast game, though it is good. This is the only one this year. Last year, there was 3 separate regional broadcasts. This year, there's only this one. Though, as I also mentioned, when the league does eventually expand, I would expect there to be a regional broadcast every single week. But we'll have to wait and see about that one. The Skylander Dragons are dragged for like 10 elements. Punt is up for the Battlehawks. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. It is going to be recovered at about the 22-yard line, but he gets tackled immediately. Now remember, St. Louis did fail their 1 super challenge. They have no challenges left. But these Stallions do have one more challenge left because they already used one. It was successful, so they have their second one. They have 3 timeouts left, and St. Louis gets the ball at half. Again, but will Seattle get a UFL team? I think that of all the teams that could be brought back, Seattle's one of the most likely to be brought back because of the fact that market has a lot that can be good. The only thing that really hurt them was mainly the fact that the scheduling for the XFL was so terrible that year for them, but definitely should. I see the Stallions smoking them in the second half. It'll be interesting to see for sure because this game, man, is an insanely close one. The Stallions, the second half has been really good this year, so we'll see. Yes, I'm a nerd. Expanded 10 games in 2026 and 12 teams in 2027, I think is the way to go. Could the World Cup hurt the UFL next year? It could, depending on... Because I know all the stadiums or something. It's just a matter of... I don't remember exactly when the World Cup is, but obviously you have a huge sporting event. Yeah. And they make it to year 4, then we see a ratings jump. I wouldn't be too shocked at that either. Just tweeting something out right now. If the fans will support the Guardians, sure bring back, but they won't now. I know the Guardians' biggest issue is the fact that if they're playing in, obviously, Orlando, it's that Florida weather that just is insanely hot. And so that's, of course, a tough one. So I do fully get why they wouldn't want to go back there unless they get an indoor stadium. But, yeah. I think I know why they do regional because Indy 500 qualifying day is going on today. Yeah, and then it's a lot of that right there. Cancel the World Cup. I can't watch this other UFL game TP as well as subscription. Is like yeah, it's wild that you have to have the Fox Sports app for it. It's definitely wild how they do that. Can we get Ford and Audi Field to do something good? True. If fans, I think for the sake of the league, they start a bit earlier next year. They expand to avoid the World Cup competition. World Cup's definitely gonna be hurt, but starting earlier, it definitely hurts a lot. So. Ford Field to hell is going on. Panthers 46-yard field goal attempt is no good. Why am I not shocked that BT Potter missed a kick? Like, why am I not surprised that he missed a field goal? Panthers special teams unit, man, just absolutely doming us. But yeah, Indy 500 is definitely the biggest reason for that. I don't know if I think Indy 500 is next week, though, but there's a lot of IndyCar stuff that's definitely hurting it. Because Fox got that big deal with IndyCar, and that's been a huge reason why there hasn't been as many games on Saturday for Fox, and why, obviously, it's been such a big deal that they have the Friday Night Football time slot. 2-minute warning, 2nd and 10. And then, of course, NASCAR also having times on Fox also. But the same issue last year, Ford Field. I don't even think there's anything going on. I think there might be something. It's just like I was talking about earlier. It's the biggest issue with it being the fact that with the UFL, with playoff games, you have to hold spots, right? So while we're in 2-minute break, let's just talk about it. So for playoffs games, you have to hold a spot that's not a guarantee, right? You don't know a team's going to host a playoff game, right? There's a 1 in 4 shot that your team wins the conference and hosts a playoff game. So you have to be able to hold the rights to 8 different spots. So if you're Ford Field and you can either A, book like a concert there that's going to get over 30 to 50,000 people in attendance, or a sporting event that gets over 20K, or even just 10K, or have a chance to host the UFL playoff game, that would get you maybe 14K considering on Michigan, which is really good for Michigan, but for them. So if you're Ford Field, you're going to do it, right? Audi Field, they already had soccer commitments going on this season with the FIBA World Cup and stuff like that. So because of that, they can't host any playoff games or the championship game. So when you see that, it kind of makes sense to why some of these areas aren't. Whereas St. Louis, they know if the Battlehawks make the championship game, they're getting a huge crowd. They know that. Birmingham, it's not like there's a ton of stuff, right? There's 2 different stadiums, like, in Birmingham, pretty much. Like, there's, like, Protective, and then there's Legion, I believe is the other one. So it's like, if you're Protective, you don't really have anything else going on, so you're fine to host a playoff game there. So that's kind of the big deal when it comes to hosting playoff games and why it isn't a guarantee. And it's like, people can be mad at the league all they want. The league really doesn't have much control over this stuff. And this is one of the very few things that I will defend the league on. The league, they can only do so much when it comes to having these venues booked, because unless you own a stadium, which obviously is a insane amount of money, we all see how much it's cost to build one, it's not like the league can really do too much about it. It's just kind of the thing where it just, it is what it is, and it sucks to see, but you kind of just have to deal with it. I think the regional messes it up. Maybe people want to watch St. Louis, but in Michigan or something. Definitely. But, I mean, that's always the case with, like, NFL stuff, right? Like, if you are, let's say, a Denver Broncos fan, but you live in North Carolina, right? You're almost never able to get a Broncos game. You'll get, like, maybe one every, like, couple weeks and all that. And then it's a lot of that kind of thing, which is the case with every league. So it's one of those things where it sucks, but it's like every league has that issue to an extent. Like, I know being, like, a Hurricanes fan or something, that's also a big deal because you have to sign up for a specific sports app, or else you get regional blocked, and, like, ESPN Plus is really aggravating. 2nd and 10. Fake the handoff, quick pass out to the right, gonna go to the 25-yard line, and he's gonna get just to the 30, might be a bit short. In theory, you'd like to see them go to another stadium for those things, but I think it's a matter of they would rather just stick with the 8 stadiums they have than add extra ones and create potential confusion. Because at the end of the day, right, if you go to, let's say, East Lansing, right, you're still having to have a new place that you've never played before. You can only guess how much people show up, whereas at least with Birmingham, you know what you're going to get, kind of, so yeah. Get more now, so you have the main crew for both networks. Now get Kevin Harlan, Iron Eagle. NBC would be great to bring back. Yeah, it is a shame that only NBC really ever had those. Like, the NBC on USFL had legit pregame halftime. It's a shame we haven't had that at all. Minute and a half left for Birmingham against St. Louis. Still has 2 timeouts left. They still could get the ball back and kick a field goal or even get a touchdown, depending on how fast Birmingham is at scoring here. Remember, the clock stops with first downs until the chains are moved, just like college. So you do have that going for you right there. Stallions plus 3.5. Wow. I mean, hey, the initial spread was like 0.5, so I mean, hey, even if you lose, you got good value on it. Ball is snapped, looks to the right, looks to the middle of the field, throws it. It is going to be incomplete. That's good for St. Louis. Incomplete pass. Obviously, clock stops. St. Louis can try to get the ball back. It'd be great for that. Panthers are a good team. If you move somewhere else, I'm sure they would support. You'd like to see it. It's just a matter of, again, moving a team somewhere else. Like, I know people use the TD Rice Stadium as an excuse for Houston. That obviously hasn't worked out. But, whenever you move a team, even if it's somewhere slightly different, it does change for a lot of people. Like, if you have people who it's like, let's say, a 20-minute drive, but then you change it to another town, it's like a 40-minute drive. A lot of people wouldn't want to go there, so it's that kind of thing. 2nd and 10 for the Stallions. Ball is snapped, looks to the middle of the field, looks to the left, throws it to the left. It is going to be incomplete. Another incomplete pass. A great thing for St. Louis again. Clock stops again. They still have 2 timeouts, a minute 22 left. Not great right there. Again, this is not good for Birmingham right here. You do not want to give St. Louis the ball back with time. St. Louis does get the ball at the half. So if they're able to get the ball here and score and then get the ball at half, they can get a huge lead. That's what happened with Birmingham, right? Their comeback happened because they scored at the end of the half, then got the ball back and scored again at half, and that allowed them to get that comeback over Houston. So let's see what they do. 3rd and 10. 1 man to his right and left in the backfield with him. 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. J. Martin shotgun. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Rolls up in the pocket. Spin move. Runs. He's going to run for it. Gets about 4 yards. St. Louis should call a timeout here. Looks like they are. Call a timeout here. Kick the ball, right, or punt the ball. Get the ball back with about a minute, 5 seconds left after the return, and have a timeout left. You can easily get some sort of score. Good call by St. Louis. I am from near Detroit area, and yes, Michigan loves football. All the Midwest drinking love football, as we do, because I don't like how if you're DC or Michigan, if you win, it really doesn't mean anything because you don't get to host a playoff game. Especially because of how it happened last year as well, which really sucks. But hopefully, as long as Michigan's attendance keeps going up, hopefully that issue doesn't really happen next year. We'll see. 7 passing yards. Oh my gosh. Absolutely wild, but hey, insane. It's a 1-point game. Again, turnovers, as we saw yesterday with that insane San Antonio game against Memphis. Turnovers are a big deal. We've seen a few of them in this game have a huge impact on this score, right? Duggan being able to run the ball in a couple times. One of them being because of that turnover they got right at the red zone. Wild. Main 4 attendance cities, Michigan, St. Louis, D.C. That's what I would say. I'd say those 3. San Antonio could be, if they're better, but we don't know for sure. Arlington, maybe. I would say it's a main 3. Return is at the 15-yard line. Cuts to the right. Gets about 2 yards, but tackled. Let's see what St. Louis does here. Again, they got a minute left. This is more than enough time to even score a touchdown because how the clock works. As long as you're doing things fast, you can just keep going down the field fast, fast, fast. Duggan's stats for this game are not really that good in terms of passing. Rushing, he's actually doing really well. Overall passing, he is currently 3 of 7 for 15 yards, but he has taken a sack, so he has overall 7 total yards of passing. Whereas on the ground, he has 6 carries for 33 yards and 2 touchdowns. So through the air, literally nothing. On the ground, pretty solid. 1st and 10 for the Battlehawks. Ball is snapped. Duggan looks to the middle of the field. Rolls to his right. He's going to run for it, and he gets about 4 or 5 yards. Gets out of bounds. 57 seconds left. Panthers are basically becoming the second most popular team in the UFL. Definitely true, because DC attendance keeps on stabilizing / going down a bit, whereas Michigan keeps going up, which you love to see. It's definitely between DC and Michigan. Now, again, a big thing with Max Duggan, I know we talked about his throwing motion. Another thing we kind of didn't really mention is on the run, right? When you're on the run and you have that long throwing motion, it makes it even harder to throw while on the run. Because you have to do your entire motion while on the run versus a quarterback who just throws it over their body or something. That's another thing that definitely is hurting the Battlehawks offense today is how Duggan plays. Drops back in, looks to the middle of the field. He's going to throw it deep over the middle. Is going to be caught. Up to the 40, the 45. Goes to the right, the 50. Still inbounds. Tackled out of bounds about the 45 in Birmingham territory. Best throw of the day for Max Duggan right there, or arguably second best that first play to Pearson, which almost was caught. Great play by Blake Jackson. Big catch right there. Love to see that. Again, if he's able to stay in his pocket and get his throwing motion, it's great for Duggan. Again, showing that replay, you see the biggest issue and blessing. When he's in the pocket, being able to have his feet set and make that throw, it's going to be a good throw. But with that way he throws the ball, it's just that he isn't able to get that great throwing motion out that much. But that was a great play by the Battlehawks. Huge first down. They're almost in field goal range already with the best kicker in the league. Already up by 1. 47 seconds left. Ball is snapped. It is a bad snap. Duggan has to lose yardage. That's going to be about a 7-yard loss. That is the second bad snap / bad get by Duggan on the day. Bad loss right there. I think Battlehawks did have a 40K like last year, but since then it's pretty much hovered around like 30K, so we'll definitely see what ends up happening in this game. Again, bad snap and bad play by Duggan right there. Not good. Our Duggan trash talking is working. Yeah, but then immediately they have that bad snap, lose yards. They lose 10 yards on the play. It's now 2nd and 20. Now you're thinking about just trying to get into field goal range. If you get about 15 yards, you can kick a legit field goal. Rodrigo Blankenship, again, has been the best kicker in the league this year. So that's kind of what your bare minimum goal is. Get about 15 yards to kick a field goal. Get a 4-point lead. Then you get to play with the ball at the end of at the start of the next half. You kick a field goal. Then you'll take a 7-point lead, right? You'd want touchdowns, but against this Stallions team with these two defenses, any points are good points. Wish he went to Iowa. Good old TCU. Legend right there, the Horned Frogs. 2nd and 20. Duggan in shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Scrambling. Rolls to his left. Throws it to the left. Little dump off. It is caught, but it's only going to be about a 2-yard gain for Keem Butler. Not good for the Battlehawks right there. They got to move a bit quickly. They have no timeouts left. They got to get at least 10 yards here on this play. Birmingham calls a timeout here. Honestly, not super shocked here. If you're Birmingham, you stop them here initially, maybe even get a sack, get a good return on a punt, you could be able to get into field goal range with 2 timeouts left or 1 timeout left. So, not a bad timeout call by Birmingham, especially because of how much time is left. You're not really expecting St. Louis to get a touchdown. You kind of know that no matter what, their peak is a field goal. So not a bad timeout call by Birmingham. Of course, you don't want to go into the half with 3 timeouts left no matter what situation. It's always bad. So not a bad call for them right there. Dart Duggan, okay. 3rd and 17 for the Battlehawks. Again, if they get about 10 yards, it's good enough. Rodrigo Blankenship hasn't missed a kick this season. Again, announcer jinx could happen, but hasn't missed a kick this season. So if you can get at least 10 yards, it's a very doable kick. Hell, even about like 7 yards is good enough, but not what you really want. Duggan over the middle, throws it. It's a little dump off to the 50, gets to the 45, gets to the 40, tackled at about the 39-yard line. Birmingham deciding not to call timeout. They're going to just take this to the end of the half, it looks like. Going to make this as quick as they can. St. Louis has to get this field goal up. Again, they haven't missed a kick all year. This is going to be a tough field goal. Let's see what happens here. Career-long field goal is a 56-yarder. This is a 58-yarder. Let's see if you make this one. Kicking from the right hash. Kick is up. It's drifting to the left. And it is good. No, it bounced off the bottom of the upright. It is no good. It was too short. The first missed kick of the season for Rodrigo Blankenship. It was accurate, but it wasn't long enough. It bounced on the bottom upright and missed. Hate to see that. Almost made it, but too short. Look at that. Showing that replay. It just bounced. Bad bounce. That hurts. Again, if you make that kick, you get a 4-point lead, meaning that if you kick a field goal after the half when you get the ball back, you take a 7-point lead, which is huge. Instead, you missed that kick, showing the Battlehawks fans all just upset, man. That's a rough one. Some of these coaches in the lesser leagues are really stupid. I'll tell you some of you. I mean, dude, the XFL coaches, like those, that bad 4, really the bad 3, like the Rod Woodson, Hines Ward, Terrell Buckley, Kirby Wilson. Ooh, some bad ones. 0-1 in field goal attempts this game, absolutely wild. Crying emojis, my heart, absolutely hate to see it. Announcer jinx is undefeated, true. Again, we just got into half of this game. Again, the other game is already in the 3rd quarter. It's absolutely wild how much slower this game has been versus how much fast-paced the other one is. I mean, these games are supposed to be 3 hours long, like exactly. This game, after half, won't start till about 3 o'clock, which is wild. So we'll see how Panthers Roughnecks ends up doing. Front runners to go. Rodrigo Blankenship probably going to get somewhere. Even though he didn't make that kick, his accuracy's been really good this season. There's going to be either him or McCrane probably gets picked up as a kicker. Perkins definitely, probably. There's always a couple guys that are going to be practice squad guys, like a Perez Teamu might be like a practice squad during the season. Wouldn't be too shocked Deion Kane gets another shot. A couple of these receivers. Running backs, I really don't fully expect that many running backs, except Toa. He might, from what he's done, but yeah. One-point game at the half. Again, last year's game, insanely close, tight affair. Looks like we have it again. Would rather have the other one. Yeah, I know some people would for sure, but sometimes it is what it is, right? Most people have this game. It seems that only like the Michigan-Houston area has the Michigan versus Houston game. So, yeah. The All-Star race is on Sunday. I know last year it was like such a boring race. Like, I forgot who it was. Whoever won it literally had to lead like the entire race. It was wild. Marquette King. You would think that last year, but we don't know. That's the only thing. Yeah. Halftime, 12-13. Absolutely love it. Let's go see over here. Trying to see any big updates somewhere. Not really seeing anything right now. Absolutely wild having these two games up here. Shame we don't get that one. I'm going to turn on my fan. Hopefully the light isn't on. It's not good. I did not want to be flashbanged in my own house. Let's take that. My Beehawks barely up. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty wild. How's Dennis in Houston? Oh, I don't know. I do not know, but it will be something to see for sure. We will see eventually. Yeah, that's why I didn't want the mic up. I knew that was going to happen, but it is what it is. Again, halftime. Hopefully when they come back, they'll put on the other game. I don't remember if they did it last year, but in theory, you'd hope that they do. Considering the fact that, again, it's not like they have no reason not to, right? Obviously. So, hopefully. Let's go over here. Let's look at the PGA while we're in the commercial break. I'd assume that everybody's started. Yes, everybody's pretty much started. Vegas is already at +2. Oh, my goodness. That's absolutely wild. Yeah, not too shocked, though. Didn't really expect him to stay there. Scotty's at +1. Don't like seeing that. Let's see. Is Rory already? Oh, he has not moved up, has he? I mean, he did just start, but he's even not great. Trisha Garcia +4. Bro made the cut and said, I'm good. He's just getting his bag. That's what he's doing. He got his bag and he's good. They're showing highlights for the other game. Just put on the other game is what you really want to see. Sepp Straka went from winning a big event and Larry came in second and then both missing the cut. There's so many good golfers missed the cut this year. It's absolutely wild. How many missed the cut? Like Lowry, a few other, Koepka, a lot of them. I mean, imagine they bring back the 2,000 rule with get the ball first. Okay, no. Looks great. It really does. I really like the UFL overtime though, fast, exciting, fair. I really do like it too. I also like how you have the thing where it's if you do back-to-back penalties on defense, it gives you the conversion. I like that, so you can't try and cheese your way out of it, but yeah. Yeah, and showing the in the hunt. Absolutely wild how it's going, but yeah. Man, it went from looking like we were going to have so many teams competing for a playoff spot to that might be over this week in terms of playoff teams, which is absolutely diabolical, but it is what it is. Still halftime, obviously. Damn, got a few folks in chat today. Hey, I mean, this is a big matchup. I mean, number one, a lot of people don't get this game. You know, obviously the people who have the other one and then who don't have Fox Sports like most people. But yeah, in the locker room, we get to see professional athletes eating Uncrustables at halftime. Absolutely wild. Loving that. Okay, got to pack that up later. Try to combine WWE and NFLs. It really did. I mean, hey, some of those camera angles ended up sticking around, though, so at least there was a couple things that kind of worked out for him, but yeah. Still can't believe how slow this game has been. I mean, no one mentioned earlier, but, like, the fact this other game is going to be, like, 5 minutes done in the third quarter before this game even starts is hilarious. 42 sips of beer. Oh, yeah. Oh. Let's see what's up here. Hold up. Did I literally just rip on Scotty and he just hit a major shot? Let me see this. Wow. He's got a free birdie. Wow. Big, big, big. Put those both up there. Get them both there. Love the regional broadcast, man. This is something wild. They just show off Michigan, Houston. I really hate how they didn't. They just showed like a couple plays and then said, "Yeah, we good." Like, come on, bro. Do more than that. That's so lame. But come on, is what it is. World of Wonderful Arlington. Okay. J. Morris Smith. What a game. Rock needs to care. Bro, Rock don't care about anything, bro. He don't even care about the WWE. He trying to ruin everything he can, bro. Oh my god. It's like everything the Rock touches like turns to trash now. So that 65-yard TD pass to Deion Kane, absolutely beautiful play. Definitely, that was the best play of the day, and the second best was definitely that Travis Feeney fumble. I mean, that was such a perfect one. For real, for real. Bro just says everything. He's trying to make himself. He's trying to act like for those of you who know the WWE, Bro tried to act like he's the reason WrestleMania 40 was so good when he's the reason it almost totally backfired. Like, come on. Like, dude, The Rock, man. The actor known as the Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Up next on Michigan territory, we don't like seeing that. We don't like seeing that one. Yeah, WrestleMania 41 was definitely really bad. He only cares about himself, his product, and first time eating In-N-Out for the... Yeah, his first time eating In-N-Out for the 4th time, right? Oh, it's a classic. If you know that one, you know that one. Thanks a million, Rock. What a game so far. Again, the Battlehawks passing attack, they had that one deep pass to Blake Jackson. Aside from that, it's been non-existent. As for the Stallions, they had that one big play, and aside from that, it hasn't been all that great. They've had a couple of plays here and there, but that's about it. The IndyCar 500, May 25th. If Stone Cold Steve Austin owned any of these leagues, they would do way better than The Rock's. Sick of The Rock selling us bad movies. I mean, The Rock just... It's like he's living off his name. It's not like he's... It's like he is living off his own name, and that's about it. Like, dude... Man, The Rock... What a guy, dude. He forces himself in all his products, and then just doesn't show up at all. It's just... It's great. Let's see over here. 2 new posts. Oh, okay, thank you. Again, I love how Twitter says new posts when it's just you doing your own post. Like, come on, bro. It ain't that deep. Open those 2. There we go. Remembering loving everyone hating it. It really did. I mean, he took a 180 so quick. It's a mix of the, like, Maui situation, the Black Adam movie, and WWE. Those 3 are the trifecta of what happened to The Rock. Because when he initially came back to WWE, it was this big deal, and then everyone was realized, like, oh my god, he's really trying to force his way into the main event of WrestleMania by himself. Like, from every report I've seen, everyone, including his own damn cousin, didn't want him in the main event, but he wanted to, and it was just like... Then, of course, the Maui situation was bad. The Black Adam thing was really bad, so yeah. The swaps, I actually think will be cool. I'm late to chat, but how about them both? That game was awesome. I think that was the best Friday Night Football game of the season, honestly. That was such a fun game to watch. It was just awesome. Really, really fun one right there. Loved it. Stone Cold isn't close enough with the Illuminati, bruh. He's just going to be on his podcast having a good time drinking beers. He's an arena QB, bruh. Roughnecks going for it, and they dropped it. They did not get the 4th and 2. Michigan ball, baby, like that. He just didn't want CM Punk main eventing. Bruh. Honestly, probably true. The Rock, bro. Start of the 3rd quarter, 12-13. I still genuinely believe that it is possible that when CM Punk got hurt in the Rumble, he said something to somebody. Because I still believe there's a chance that he was supposed to win that Rumble, but then once he realized he got hurt, he didn't, and that was what changed everything. And they're just trying to cover that up. I do kind of have that feeling that he was supposed to win the Rumble over Cody to challenge Seth, but... That's a video for another day, potentially. That's a community member's video for another day. Sup, Gregory? UFL needs Houston to make the playoffs. I mean, needs them? I don't know. But it would definitely be really cool for them to actually see another team make the playoffs. It is going to be boring seeing the same 2 USFL teams make it again. In movies, his character loses while The Rock, he wants his character. He's got the contract, but he can't lose. Oh, it's great. I mean, we would still have the USFL, and at least, but yeah, the UFL, I mean, it's mainly Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia was telling The Rock, hey, I want this league, and yeah. Yeah, the picks were bad. The worst one was the one in the red zone where he literally threw it to the guy that was, like, in front of him by about 2 yards. That was the worst. That was so funny. Pretty much 2-sided, I mean, both this year and last year. I mean, it is very possible both teams go 7-3 for well, not a second straight year, but both teams go at least 7-3 for a second straight year. And mainly is because of the dominance over the other two teams. Yeah, it is kind of what it is. On screen, they're only talking bad about Duggan's lack of TV skills. I mean, it's just that throwing motion, man. I know we talked about it a lot, and I'm beating a dead horse, but it's so true. Like, Phillip Rivers, the only guy that had that kind of whack throwing motion, right? When you're having the throwing motion, right, and you're having to bring the ball around to throw instead of just dropping it back to throw, it's just, you're putting so much extra motion on it. Those are the guy runs. Yeah, they need that tight end from San Antonio. That would be a good quarterback for him. Another sack for Houston. 101 yards in the first half rushing. Yeah, went from a total blowout in the first half of the season to like a total blowout in the second half. It really is wild. I was taking like a full 180. Okay, so we're just having a laugh camera, aren't we? Oh, we're really just BSing, aren't we, camera? Alright, guys, I am here in 144p. You're welcome. Thank you, camera. We love you. Yeah, camera said, nah, bro, on God. Like, bro, come on. The dog in slander, it'll be okay. Again, St. Louis does get the ball to start. Of course. I'm low-key hoping Duggan shuts me up. Return us to the 20. The 25, and he gets a spin move, but he's going to be tackled. Depending on where they give us, I think maybe the 25-yard line or the 20-yard line. Again, St. Louis does get the ball to start half. They did miss the field goal to end the half at the first, so if you missed that, that's a big deal, but yeah. Thank God. There we go. We're back. Back in, like, 1280 or whatever my camera quality is. The dual box score. Yes, up, Trevor. Got that dual box score up, put it up, like, near the end of the second quarter. I was like, hold up, I can just put this one up, and hopefully they both actually go up. So, yeah. 1st and 10 for the Battlehawks. Motioning 2 guys to the left side of the line of scrimmage. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 1 running back to his right as well in the back with him. Ball is snapped. Quick throw to the right. It gets tipped at the line of scrimmage for a no gain incompletion. 6 of 11 for 64 yards on the day for Duggan right now. Let's see what they can do now. Again, St. Louis missed the field goal. Hot Rod had an accurate kick, but it was just about half a yard too shy. Bounced off the bottom upright and missed. So, really bad break for St. Louis. Let's see if they can do something here, though. 2nd and 10. Most of the receivers to the left. Ball is snapped. Duggan looks to the middle of the field. Looks to the left. Throws it to the left. Little check down. It is caught, but it's only going to be about a 3-yard gain. Going to be about 3rd and 7. Trevor's got his stick together. So it's going to be about 3rd and 7 for the Battlehawks. Again, there was a bit of a dump off. You would have liked to see that on 1st down, not on 2nd down, because now it's 2nd and 10. Now it's 3rd and 7. That's not a good one right there. The Super Bowl scoreboard is terrible. Ooh. Bradley Enne is out for the Stallions. I think I remember that Super Bowl scoreboard from this past Super Bowl, and I remember it being pretty bad. 3rd and 7 for the Battlehawks. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Throws it over the middle of the field, and it is going to be intercepted. Just an arm punt. I mean, seriously, that was thrown directly to the Stallion safety. There was almost no Battlehawk within 5 yards of him when that ball was landed. Awful throw by Max Duggan. Interception for the Stallions. They're going to get the ball at decent field position right there. My brother graduates from College of San Antonio today, so popping in. Dude, that's sick. Congratulations to your brother graduating. Massive, massive W, getting a college degree. Love to see that. Wanted to ask your thoughts on something, Zomb. Have you ever had a college or young QB you were sure was gonna at least be good in the NFL and wasn't? That I thought was going to be truly good, at least good. I thought Ritter was going to be okay, not good, but I thought it was going to be okay, which didn't happen. Lamar I thought was going to be good, and he was. I thought Dwayne Haskins was going to be good. I really thought he was going to be a solid quarterback. I didn't think he was going to be like the best quarterback in the league, but I thought he was going to be a very solid quarterback. He was going to be better than Daniel Jones, and I know rest in peace to him, but even before that happened, he just wasn't that good. That was the one I really thought was going to be pretty solid. Fields, I honestly stand by that he's been pretty good, and it's been a lot of everyone around him sucks. So I think that he's a solid one. That was an arm punt. But yeah, I would say Justin Fields, I said that, but he has been good. But Dwayne Haskins is the one that I really thought was going to be good that ended up not being good. Dude, my YouTube studio is so behind. Man, love to see it, though. I mean, Rip Haskins, yeah. It was definitely... That was one of those things that just came out of completely nowhere. That was just wild to see when that had happened. I mean, it was like his first year with the Steelers. How can I watch the UFL games? So these two UFL games, pardon me. Right now there is a game on Fox right now. So if you just have regular Fox and broadcast TV, you can watch it there. Or if you have a Fox Sports account, you can watch on the Fox Sports app. Which if you do that, you can watch either game. This is a regional broadcast game. Most of the country is getting the Stallions versus the Battlehawks. So if you are in the Michigan or Houston area, you're getting the Michigan-Houston game. So again, you can either watch it on Fox on regular broadcast TV, or if you have a Fox Sports account, you can watch it on the Fox Sports app. I was so certain about Trevor Lawrence, though, seriously. It just shows how hard QB NFL is. Honestly, I never was super high on T-Lock, because I didn't watch a ton of Clemson games, but when I did watch him, it just, to me, I never fully bought into him being like, let me rephrase that. I thought he was solid, but I thought that the talk that he was the best prospect since Andrew Luck was a bit far out there. That's what I thought. He got a lot of credit, deservedly so. I mean, when you won a championship as a freshman, that's a big deal. But once you got past that first year with Clemson, he kind of underachieved every other year in college to a degree. And I mean, in the NFL, he's been an okay quarterback. He's not bad by any means. He's just not a great quarterback in the NFL. He's just kind of okay, which is still decent. Edling with a 35-yard touchdown bomb. Well, Bryce Perkins' MVP chances are going down, down, down. Hopefully, Tayamu has a terrible game tomorrow. Looks like the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage by Duggins. It's not fully on him. Actually, I take that back. That is still partially on him because that throwing motion takes so damn long. But still, bad interception. Stallions get the ball at about the 46-yard line. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Quick little screen pass to the left. Gets to about the 50, so about a 4-yard gain. Let Russ cook. Oh, wait, he got cooked. Our Clemson Tigers pretenders in college. They haven't won a championship in a few years now, but they still caught one of those top teams. Big touchdown, though, and 1-point conversion, so Michigan is up 21-12 over Houston. Big, big lead for them right there. Again, if Michigan wins, both Michigan and Birmingham clinch a playoff spot, and Houston is eliminated from playoff contention. No XFL team can clinch today, but both USFL teams can clinch today. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Quick throw to the left. It is going to be caught by Deion Kane, who breaks the move. Gets to the 25, the 20, the 10. It's another touchdown. Deion Kane with another massive touchdown. Was able to break a couple of tackles and get a touchdown. Deion Kane, absolutely insane by Deion Kane right there. 2 massive touchdowns for him. As I said earlier in this game, I was asked about big stars and who was going to play well. Deion Kane playing well gives the Stallions the best chance at winning. Incredible play by Deion Kane right there. Show this replay. Absolutely quick pass to Deion Kane. He just outrun the 2 defenders. That's what it came down to. Wasn't really a skill move, just outran him. One of them went for an ankle tackle, and he just outran him, caught a better angle. Massive play for the Stallions. They are now up 18-13. 2-point attempt. It is 18-13. If they make this, they're up 20-13. It is a 2-point conversion. Let's see if they make this one. In 5 wide, ball is snapped. Looks to the right. Quick pass. It is going to be incomplete. So it is 18-13. I literally won 17 bets in a row across Tuesday and Trevor by taking Clemson team total over 20.5. They were really getting there in the first quarter most times. I was very biased, lol. Bro, that's actually wild. Man, bro, this game is stressing me out. My backs tend to do that. Speaking of Clemson, that's a Clemson product right there. True that, true that. Why do I put myself through this? Hey, at least you're not having to deal with what, you know, poor G-Man's having been dealing with all season with the showboats just roughing it up so much of the season. Literally, Jake just messaged me saying, that Kane is his OPOY. I agree. I could be in his spot. Yeah, the Showboats, man. Poor Showboats. Deon Kane, man. Absolutely incredible. I would say he's probably my top 10 best players of the year for sure. At least they won the only 2 OT games of the year. True. That is true. I mean, 2-0 in him. That's pretty good. You like that. 20 new posts. What the hell? I got to watch this Danny Etling touchdown. Let's see. Quick little pass to the right. Deep pass. Oh, that's a beautiful pass right there. That is a perfect pass right there. Love to see that. The Max Duggan experience. James Larson just tweeted that. That's great. Bro, making fun of him. That's so messed up. Just saw someone make fun of J.M. Smith working at Dunkin' Donuts earlier this year. That's so diabolical. I literally left the TV because I knew Brahmas had a shot at winning and just don't swap Mon. After Hogan throws literally the worst passes at the line of scrimmage. I still can't believe that T-Will and Hogan played that whole game. Like, I swear, Pardee and Turner had to have said to each other, like, if you just don't switch your quarterback, I'm not going to do it. Because there's no way that E.J. Perry and, like, Kellen Mond didn't see the field that game with how bad they played. It's absolutely wild. Sounds where you should have go for 1 to make it at least a 7-point game. Well, going for 1 would have only made it a 19 to 13-point game, so it would have been a 6-point game. So going for 2 was to make it a 7-point game. Showboats was a lock to win. Yeah, once it overtime, it was like, man, you knew. Johnson needs to go. Just have Roughnecks go dormant. Yeah, dude, Curtis Johnson, man. Bro tried to save his season earlier in the year, and he ain't do it. Like, congrats, you beat the Brahmas and the Showboats twice. You want a medal? You want a cookie? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Kick is up. Recovered about the 6-yard line. Return to the 10, the 15, the 20. Cuts to the left, gets to the 25, and goes down to about the 27-yard line. Okay, field position, but there is a flag. Let's see what this is. What will you rate Curtis Johnson's coaching this season? Second to worst coach of the year. Worst is Bob Stoops so far. The fact they've blown as many leads as they have, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Worst coaching job this season was Bob Stoops. Second was Curtis Johnson. But Curtis Johnson has been in the bottom pretty much all, well, this year and last year, so yikes. What if the UFL gets a top name QB next year like Shedeur Sanders? I mean, hey, Max Duggan was a pretty big name. I mean, people need to remember, he was a Heisman runner-up. He was a very, very solid player in college. I say solid, he was a great player in college. Got that Horned Frogs team to a championship game. Yes, they got their asses literally like belt to ass by Georgia, but they got to that game beating Michigan. That was a pretty big name, so they get another guy like that would be pretty good. Hand the ball off to Sailors, who cuts to the right. Gets about 5 yards on the ground, maybe even 6 yards. Decent carry for Sailors right there. Let's go, Birmingham. Absolutely wild how this team's been playing. Deon Kane, man, he's been absolutely lights out in this game. Insane. They're terrible 2-point conversions this season, 4 of 15. Yeah, the more you see other teams, the more you realize Michigan going for 1 all the time and making it ain't that bad because they're at least making it like a really good percent of the time. To troll a guy for working at Dunkin', nothing wrong with working there, let alone while you're getting Masters, but they're XL fans. That tweet, man, absolutely wild that I saw that on Twitter. Ball is snapped, handed off, run up the middle. About a 3.5-yard gain. There's going to be a tough decision here on what play call you do here. Do you keep the ball with Duggan? Do you hand it off to Sailors again? Do you go for a pass? This depends on if you're going to go for on 4th down, but we'll see. Let's see what they do here on 3rd down. It's going to be about 3rd and 1.5. Depends exactly where they spot this one. Pick 6. Oh, no. Well, the Panthers are probably making the playoffs. Yeah, the trolling him for the working at Dunkin'. If you saw it on Twitter, it was an AI post of JMR with Dunkin'. 3rd and 2, bad spot. Ooh, it's a tough call. What do you do here? Ball snapped. Fake the handoff. Duggan rolls to his right. Does a little dump off pass. It is caught. It is a 1st down. I believe that was Jake Sutherland with the catch. So they're going to not show it. I think it was. But 1st down for St. Louis right there. L. Houston. Imagine the Ravens get Shedeur Sanders and hire Deion Sanders. That would be great. Pick 6, so Michigan, barring a colossal comeback, that means Michigan and Birmingham will be clinching a playoff spot. You know there's a couple people with Birmingham that are keeping up with this game, because this does mean that both Birmingham and Michigan clinch no matter what, if this score holds. Ball is snapped, fake the handoff, quick throw out to the left to Ja'Cour Pearson, who gets about 1.5 yards on the carry or on the reception. Roughnecks, what a name. Guangdong Tigers. Roughnecks is actually a dope name. Yeah, they need to get a mascot. That's what they need. They need a mascot. Both them and, of course, the defenders need a real mascot. And, dude, like, the DC defenders could literally just use, the red, or not guards, the generals one. Like, come on. Second and 9 for the Battlehawks. Ball is snapped. Handed off to Sailors, who runs out to his left. Gets just shy of the first down. If they give him the first down, it's a really generous spot. He should be about half a yard shy. Still a very, very good run. We'll see. Franklin the Turtle. I know you've talked about it before. It's absolutely wild, but dude, good old him. Where's Mold 10 at though? I know he was here earlier, but he might just be kind of in the chat. It's supposed to be a side term for Bulldog, pretty sure. Definitely short. Definitely did not get that. We'll see exactly what they give him, but yeah. Scotty and Bryson both back-to-back birdies. Big, big, big. They hand it off. It's a first down. Sailors keeps running. Gets to the 25. Gets to the 20. Incredible run by Sailors. Again, that's what I talked about earlier in the game. If the Jacob Sailors of the first few weeks can show up in this game, it'll give the Battlehawks a great chance to win. And this drive, he's been playing really, really solid. Love to see that. And Zomb Duggan winds up and stops halfway through. Dude, it is wild right there. It's absolutely wild, right? How he plays. Great play right there for them. Sailors is on the bench right now. I would run it here, honestly. You might not be expecting, if you're Birmingham, for them to run the ball here. They hand it off, cut up to the right, and they do get about two. Fumble! There's a fumble ball. This might be Birmingham ball. It's Birmingham ball, it looks like. Oh my goodness, that is terrible. It's Birmingham ball after the fumble. Oh my goodness. Absolutely wild. Fumble for St. Louis again. Another bad turnover for them to take. Let's see this replay. I don't even know exactly how he lost that one. He may have just tried to grip it too hard. Absolutely wild. I mean, come on. Bad, bad fumble right there. So it's going to be Birmingham ball again. Just a bad look for St. Louis right there. Just terrible. Another turnover for St. Louis. Absolutely terrible. Hate to see that. You really do. Showing the pick 6 on here. Trying to look at this one. Oh my god. That was a beautiful pick 6. Just saw the replay on Twitter. Literally just jumped that route. Got it. Did what you're supposed to. So many people nowadays, and the return was great. So many people nowadays, when they get an interception, they'll just kind of go down. You need to keep going until the whistle is blown. Just keep playing. That's exactly what he did. He went down, but he kept playing. Looking at the PGA score right now, we got a pretty good tie for second place right now. I thought they said DeChambeau was up there. I guess not. Maybe he just got a birdie that hasn't been updated yet. But you got a 1, 2, 3, 4-way tie for second place. Siwoo Kim is at number 1. Siwoo Kim had a really good day yesterday. Scotty is at -1 today. If he keeps this up, that'll be great to see. Hope Scotty gets the W. McElroy definitely getting the W, unless he has a really good day today. Yeah, the Battlehawks are definitely selling the bag right now. That's a fumble you cannot take. Because, in all honesty, I like the call to run it with the backup running back in that scenario, because if you're Birmingham, you're probably not expecting it. But the running back has to not turn the ball over and fumble it. That was bad. Now St. Louis is giving up another turnover to Birmingham. And Birmingham today, on this day, it's basically been big plays to Deion Kane or not a ton. So, Birmingham, we'll see what they do here. Carolina Panthers is the team for the NFL, which is sad, but it is true. It is a shame because this team just keeps blowing everything, but yeah. A Lions fan, excuse me. So many turns, absolutely a ton of turnovers in this game. It really is wild, but somehow yesterday's was even worse. Oh my goodness, that was wild. I hope they show the other game after the Panthers Roughnecks game finish. I definitely agree. If you're in the Houston Roughnecks area, I would assume they might as well, as long as within the 3 years, but yeah. I do not live in Michigan, but I am a Panthers fan, but I do not live in Michigan. Bryce Young on a glow up, though. He was pretty good. The Raiders, man. The Raiders looking pretty good. I know some people are questioning the Geno Smith thing, Geno Smith with Pete Carroll was a really good quarterback those couple of years. Not like a top 5, but he was a great quarterback. I really like him being with Pete Carroll in Vegas. I think that's a very good one. Yes, I am an NC. So I do like that move for the Raiders. I think it's a very good decision by them. Bringing in Pete Carroll is a great move as a head coach. I really like that. The Raiders are definitely going to be solid this upcoming season, I think. We got to go to one of these championships. And if the championship this year was in Audi Field, I would have been there. But St. Louis, man, I ain't spending another grand to go there this year. I just can't. I've already been there twice. It's a shame, but it is what it is. There is a flag pre-snap. This is probably going to be a false start penalty on the Birmingham Stallions, 5 yards. Wow, encroachment on the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty on St. Louis, so Birmingham gets 5 yards. Yeah, getting GT is great. I talked about it like in a stream a couple weeks ago or a week ago. The Brock Bowers draft pick last year, I said was insane that they got him when they did, and my God, did it work out. Yes, I'm a fan of 2 Panthers team, but I'm not a fan of the Florida Panthers, though. That is the Hurricanes. Yeah, man, it might be questionable time-wise, but next year maybe. It's just the biggest issue with the gaming in St. Louis again. It's just St. Louis is such a long drive for me, or it's a big flight, and then it's just the price is so much. Rush up the middle, it's a first down. Because like I was doing the math to go to St. Louis. Honestly, the biggest issue is the fact that it's at the night this time. If it was during the day, I would probably still go, just buy a flight, literally fly in and fly out that same day. But because it's at the end of the night, there's no way to do that, so I'd be forced to book a hotel anyway, so then you're adding even more money I gotta spend. So it's like, it's just not worth it to go to a single game for 3 hours. Because it's not like I'm going to a city I've never been to before. I've been to St. Louis twice now, so it's like, I don't need to go again. If the game's in Audi Field, my ass will be there. But St. Louis, I won't be there. Something like that. Yes, I am over college age. They suck, always suck. Okay. The Washington Commanders. Canada needs to go to Florida to see what good hockey team look like. Florida could easily make it to a 6th straight championship game or Stanley Cup. And I'm talking about Florida as in, like, the state, right? Tampa Bay Lightning made it to 3 straight. Florida's made it to 2 straight. The Eastern Conference for the past 5 years has all been them. Absolutely wild. J85, that boy. What? Why are you wearing a Renegades jersey? You're a Michigan fan, or are you trolling us? I mean, I've got a Renegades jersey. I've got 2 Panthers jerseys. I've got the Stallions jersey, or not Stallions, the Maulers jersey. But, I mean, in terms of this game, right, for the Renegades need St. Louis to lose to help them. So, figured I'd put this one on. It's the one that makes the most sense for this one. You good at sports and Panthers coverage? People are mid to a show. Yeah, high key bet 75-80% of commentators minimum. Thank you. I'm close to St. Louis, 7 hours. Arlington is 12 hours from Iowa. That's rough, dude. St. Louis is like a 13-hour drive for me. I did that one. I'm not doing that again unless I'm going somewhere else. That was a tough drive. Back to back. I mean, the Renegades, this game matters for the Renegades. If the St. Louis Battlehawks lose, the Renegades are not, like, there's no way they can be eliminated from the playoffs, so they matter for this game. There's no other game that really matters a ton. Rush is up to the right. It's going to be tackled about a yard shy of the first down. Forward progress is going to stop about a yard shy of the first down. Big play for them. Saints will be terrible in 2025 season. Yeah, that quarterback room of Tyler Shuck, Jake Hayner, and Spencer Rattler is yikes. Really yikes. I'm not a fan of that one. I mean, Tyler Shuck, look, if you're an older quarterback, man, you owe Bo Nix and Michael Penix half your salary, because there's no way Tyler Shuck's getting picked in the first 3 rounds if it isn't for those 2 guys being good. Second one for the Stallions. Jamar Smith is in shotgun. 1 man to his left in the backfield with him. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. It's a first down for the Stallions. Looks like they got about another couple of yards, maybe 3. They're still pushing forward, still going forward. It's going to be about a 5-yard gain now. So they're going to be just about 3 yards shy of midfield. Again, 7.5 minutes left in this game. Birmingham's going to want to try and start eating up some clock, get some points on the board as well if they can, but we'll see. Good to see some Iowa Perkins heading back up near you. Mickey Loomis, bro. The Saints, man, they keep circumventing that salary cap every single year. It's absolutely wild how they're doing that. I actually canceled my order jersey last year when they announced the game was becoming the Roughnecks. Ooh. My big regret is not getting the purple and orange Roughnecks jersey. I mean, Mahler's jersey. Pass throw to the right. It is incomplete. It was having to be a diving catch. Wasn't able to be made. There is a Battlehawks defender down right now, so we might be going to commercial break right here. Anthony Brown. Oh my gosh, dude. If the Battlehawks lose, they can clinch a playoff spot next week, correct? Yes, the Battlehawks are in a scenario where every single week they can clinch if certain things go their way. This specific week, if they lose and Arlington wins, and then next week it's going to be they need to win, and I think Arlington can lose. Actually, even then, maybe not. Next week, they might not be able to clinch. Off the top of my head, they might not be able to. I just can't remember the top of my head. But this week, they can. Week 10, they can. St. Louis, D.C., Arlington. St. Louis next week, they play the Brahmas. So that's a conference matchup. If they win that game, they will jump to 3-2 in the division. D.C. plays the Roughnecks, so literally doesn't matter for them. They play the Showboats. So if St. Louis loses this game, they go to 5-3. They win that one, they go to 6-3. DC could go to 6-3. Arlington could go to 4-5. Yes. So St. Louis could still clinch next week. So even if they don't clinch this week, they still can next week. Every week they can. It's just a matter of, obviously, can they? But yes, I just checked it up, and that's how it is. Because it's basically 5 losses is the magic number, right? If your team is able to, if you're the Renegades and you hit 5 losses and the Battlehawks and Defenders have 6 wins, it's over. Doesn't matter anything else, yeah. But yeah, purple and orange jerseys were great. I love those ones. No one circles the toilet wagons like the Saints. Bruh. Weird schedule with Arlington to finish with 3 road games. It definitely is weirder, but at least it's not like San Antonio getting screwed out because of the Final Four in the basketball or like certain other teams. Like we've seen, I think the Panthers one year had like 4 straight home games or something like that. But yeah, I mean, at least they were able to spread out their games in the first 7 weeks of the season. But could have been better. But it is what it is. I mean, the Renegades being the first team without any home games left. Let's see, again, 7 minutes left. Birmingham have the ball. Can they get a first down here? Can they get a field goal? Again, biggest takeaways in this game are the turnovers. St. Louis has turned the ball over in very bad scenarios, as well as their missed field goal, which was just shy, so we'll see. What can Jamar do here? Ball is snapped in 2nd and 10. It's a very delayed handoff. Run up the middle, but it's only going to be about a 2.5-yard, 3-yard gain. So it's going to be about 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6.5. So it's going to be a longer conversion for them. Let's see if they can do this one here. At best. In that division, Carolina could definitely win. I think 7-10 is a pretty good possibility. I think that if I were to predict their record, I think 7-10 is what I would go with. Because they should be able to beat Saints at least once. They could probably beat Atlanta at least once. That's 2 wins. And with their other games, they could definitely get that. As long as Bryce keeps up getting better. 5 wide for the Stallions. 3 receivers to his left, 2 to his right. 3rd and 7. Ball is snapped. Looks to his right. Quick throw. It is going to be caught. He breaks the tackle, and he gets to the 40-yard line. And he gets another 3 yards. Going to be down at about the 37-yard line. First down, Marlon Williams. Bad tackling by the Battlehawks. We're not able to bring him down. Hate to see that. Yeah, I mean, the Saints definitely need to take somebody else next year because, I mean, I really don't expect Tyler Shuck to be that guy. I think he's somebody who, like, we'll see. I mean, Bo Nix really did show that just because you play, like, your whole life in college doesn't mean you're going to be bad in the NFL. But is Lightning going to strike twice, arguably 3 with Penix? I don't know, so I wouldn't be too shocked if they do that next year. I do think that the Bucs do probably take the division again, though. Quick throw to the right is going to be caught for another first down for the Birmingham Stallions, and they get another couple of yards as well. This is looking like a really good drive for Birmingham. They get a touchdown here. It's going to make it a very tough comeback for St. Louis to pull off. Think we'd hear what's going on in the game. Well, absolutely big play for the Stallions right there. Which NFL teams improved the most during the draft? The Giants, definitely. Getting Abdul Carter was a huge move for him, and even though I personally am not a huge fan of Jackson Dart, he is a quarterback that fits their history really well. First down for the Stallions. 3 receivers to his left, 1 running back to his left as well in the backfield with him. Ball is snapped. Looks to his left. Rolling to his left. And he gets sacked by Pita. Pita gets the big sack on Jamar Smith. Absolutely wild play for them. Going to be about a 3-yard loss because Jamar was able to move up a little bit. So it's not going to be the biggest sack in the world, but it's still going to be a loss of some yards. Again, you do not want to let them score a touchdown here. If they kick a field goal, it makes it 21-13, so it's an 8-point game, which you will take. I know, but yeah, I would say even though first round is the biggest one, the first round, the Giants just really had a great draft there. I think overall, the Browns had a really good draft when it comes to their team's future. I think it was a good decision to trade away the number 2 overall pick considering what they really need. It is in equal field goal range. They hand the ball off to fake it. Jamar's going to run up the middle, and it's going to be about a 6-yard gain. Going to be down to about the 26-yard line. So it's going to be about 3rd and 9-ish, but he is in very easy field goal range. We'll see. I'm rooting for the Stallions today. Thanks, Zomb. Although I think our floor is 0. Okay. Yeah, I like the Giants' moves. Even though I'm not a fan of Jackson Dart, he is a good fit for that team, but yeah. 3rd and 10. They only gave him about 5 yards on the carry, but again, they are in field goal range to make this a 21-13 game. Let's see if they can get this first down here. This is a bit short of a 3rd and 10. It's really about 3rd and 9. Jamar's in shotgun. Ball is snapped. Looks to the right. Looks to the middle of the field. Rolling up in the pocket. He's going to run for it. He gets tackled, and he reaches. This is going to be very close. This is either going to be about a yard short, or it's going to be about just barely good enough. This is going to be very close to see. Let's see one. Dart is overrated. Always had the best receivers. The thing with Jackson Dart for me is I definitely don't think he was the second best quarterback in this draft. To me, he's a guy that's a lower floor or a higher floor, lower ceiling quarterback, which is in line with like the Giants' history, which is why I'm okay with him on the team. But the fact is, like, I would have rather had Jalen Milroe. I would have rather had obviously Cam Ward, but yeah, they're gonna kick this field goal. It's gonna be up directly in the middle. Perfect kick. It is 21-13 Birmingham over St. Louis. So it is still an 8-point game right now. So, again, it is a touchdown, a 2-point conversion. We'll see. Yeah, it's even. Yeah, not even too shocked about it. Again, the first half of the season was really, like, one-sided for the XFL, and then it became one-sided for the USFL. Absolutely wild. I watched him a ton. He loses composure and falls apart. It's definitely one of those where I'm just not a huge fan of the decision to get him the way they did. Like, first round for him, he's one of those guys that just, like Tyler Shuck, I'm not always a fan of quarterbacks who kind of raise their draft stock heading into, you know, the draft from the season ends, because it's almost always really, like, undeserved. Him and Tyler Shuck were 2 of those examples. They kind of, like, went from being day 2 picks to, like, borderline first rounds. That's the one thing I wasn't a fan about Jackson Dart. Being a first rounder was, no. Like, no. It's like when Kenny Pickett was a first rounder, like, no, that's not a first round quarterback. Cam Ward was a first round quarterback. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a weaker quarterback class compared to last year and a couple years before that. But I would not be shocked if Cam Ward ends up being the only good one. Like, I do think somebody else could. I think that if the Seahawks develop Milroe right, it could be really good. Because Milroe's floor is really low, but his ceiling's really high. It'll be very interesting to see how they work with him, with a defensive-minded head coach. So one thing I'm not a huge fan of getting Pete Carroll out of the building is it'll be interesting to see for sure. Kick is up. It is going to be recovered at about the 5. Return to the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25, the 30, the 35. Was almost able to get a massive breakaway, but still got to the 35-yard line. Big return for the St. Louis Battlehawks. Well, they're positional. Everyone's saying the Saints are mid-AF. How do you feel about everyone saying that? It makes sense, right? I mean, last year with Derek Carr, who was objectively a better quarterback than what you have this year, they really didn't do much. They had the first 2 weeks which were really good, and then after it wasn't great. But the big thing is that because of how they handle the cap situation, they'll always have more talent than they really should be able to afford. So they're not going to be absolutely terrible. They're just going to be there. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. Run up the middle. It's going to be about a 6-yard gain for the Battlehawks. My thing with Shedeur Sanders, talent-wise, I think he was the third best quarterback in the draft. It's a lot of the personality issues, the amount of issues he brings, the baggage he brings with you. Like, the whole thing about NFL is about, are you worth the issues you bring? And that's what Shedeur's biggest issue is the issues he brings. Hand off to the right to Sailors. He breaks away for the first down, gets to the 50, tackled out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. Still a big play for the Battlehawks. Again, this is what we wanted to see. Jacob Sailors running the ball effectively. That's what this team hasn't had the last few weeks. Love to see it. Because the biggest issue with Shedeur, right? You have the Deion Sanders thing with how much he's involved. You have the fact that he doesn't have a real agent. That's why I think Shiloh is a decent shot at actually sticking around to a decent degree, because he's getting told exactly how teams think about him instead of Shedeur, where it's very possible teams are acting like he's better than he is, telling to Deion. So it's a big thing. That's the biggest issue, is just that the people around him and his attitude. Handoff to Sailors to the right. Makes a spin move. Breaks a tackle. Gets 4 yards. Great play by him right there. This is the thing with Sanders. Like, when I watched him play, it's like I said, when he was good, he was really good. He just had a terrible... I mean, the thing with him is that his offensive line was terrible. I watched multiple Colorado games. He didn't have an O-line. Yes. Is it a horrible take to blame your O-line publicly? Yes. Did that probably single-handedly knock him down around? Yes. But his O-line was horrid, and he still made some big plays. 2nd and 7 for the Battlehawks. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Duggan drops back to throw. Rolling up in the pocket. He's going to run for it. He gets the first down, and he slides at about the 32-yard line. Really big game for Duggan on the ground. Again, that's the one thing he's been great at today, is running the ball. Really solid play for him right there. Shedeur could be like Teddy Bridgewater. Honestly, I could see that. In a way where he's just kind of there. But yeah. With much from a QB, unless he's very good, then he can tell my mama. Bruh. Now, of course, the Michigan-Houston game is still 27-12 after that pick six that happened. Again, Michigan just needs to kind of eat up this clock. They will give themselves a playoff spot along with Birmingham. Ball is snapped. Handed off the middle. Going to be about a 1-yard gain for the Battlehawks. I will say, if Michigan wins this game, I would not be shocked if Bryce Perkins sits next week against the Stallions to kind of hide the play calls they're going to use against them. Then see him play about a half in week 10 to get some feel back for the game, and then play in the playoff game. That is something to note that I wouldn't be shocked to see. If you're Michigan, you don't have to beat Birmingham in that game, of course. It doesn't matter. You're not going to get home field advantage. So if you end up in that game with a playoff spot already guaranteed and locked up, do not play Perkins. Do not kind of expose your play calls that you're going to use. Hide them from Birmingham. Whereas Birmingham, right, they're dealing with all these injuries. So they're still going to be playing quarterbacks they might end up being forced to play in the playoffs anyway. So it doesn't really hurt you there. But we'll see. Agreed with that. The NFL is definitely going to humble Shedeur. I think him going to the 5th round really humbled him as well. The fact that he was told he's going to be a first-round pick all the time to then, like, 5th-round pick, that's pretty big deal. Like, when you get told that your team that drafted you only drafted you because they're like, man, I can't believe you fell this far, when they already picked a quarterback, yikes. Like, yikes, right there. But that's what I would say. Thanks, computer, for lagging. Let's go. We were doing so well today. Diabolical. The green screen of death. There we go. We back. We back. Looks like they're reviewing something. Some stuff happened in that game. Def sent him a message, that's for sure. 27-12, Michigan-Houston. What a game. I mean, that's absolutely wild. The Michigan really didn't. Yeah, the stream. No, it wasn't the stream. It was the computer. Thing lagged when I went to Twitter. Went black screen for about a solid 20 seconds. And then came back. It's what it is. Happens a decent amount. Any other year the Browns would have taken up the draft search. I will say, I know some people question how the Browns handle the draft. I'm fine with it, right? Drafting 2 quarterbacks, as long as one of them pans out to even a decent degree, right? You got a really good steal. You're trying to guarantee some positions are good. You got extra first-round picks. Because as long as you're still... Because that Deshaun Watson contract, they're going to have to eat that for like another 2 or 3 years, I believe. So if you build your team up very slowly, it's going to help you out a lot. Now, the Myles Garrett signing... If I'm the Browns, I would have traded him. Get a massive haul for him. Make it to where you trade both the 2nd overall pick and Myles Garrett. You could have like 5 extra first-round picks. But you keep him. He's still your guy. He's a big, big star there. So, is what it is. Yeah, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, and Of course, Dylan Gabriel is one of the quarterback rooms in football history. 2nd and 9 for the St. Louis Battlehawks. First play of the fourth quarter. 15 minutes left in the game. Ball is snapped. Duggan looks to the middle of the field, looks to his left. Throws. It's going to be incomplete. Almost intercepted. Really bad decision making by Max Duggan right there. That could have easily been intercepted by Cavazzino right there. Joe Flacco to the showboats. 3rd and 9 now for the Battlehawks. They are in field goal range. Again, a field goal isn't great, but it does cut the lead down to 5. And it means that if Birmingham kicks a field goal, it's still an 8-point game. Not what you want, but it is good enough. You know, it could be worse kind of deal. So we'll see exactly what they want to do here. 3rd and 9. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Throws it. Incomplete. Bad throw by Duggan. Threw it too low. Looking good for the 10th season in a row, Lomao. Oh, that future that's going to look good ain't for another couple of years in my books, but hey, never should have got rid of Baker. That was a terrible decision. Legit freak, one of the most badass video game looking person I've ever seen, dude. I still remember that fateful night against the Steelers. Ripped that helmet right off Rudolph and hit him right in the head with it. What a moment. My Ravens got a great player in Starks. Dude, the Ravens always find a way to get some really good defender at the end of the game. It's absolutely wild. Kick is up. It is good. 21-16 Birmingham over St. Louis. 5-point game. Saying Geno mid. I don't think because of last year. Last year he wasn't all that great. But the years before, he was still a good quarterback. He was like a legit lower end, like top 15 quarterback, which is solid. So that's why I really like him going back there. Yeah, I mean, Baker's a good quarterback. The fact is he was good in Cleveland. He got blamed for everyone else screwing up, right? OBJ, Freddie Kitchens, the GM. He got blamed for it. Got put in a terrible situation with Carolina. And then as soon as he goes to a team that believes in him in Tampa Bay, look at him now. He's a legit top 10 quarterback. He's a lower-end top 10 quarterback. He's a top 10 quarterback. And the only reason people don't want to say that is because they just think about his time with the Panthers or that he was a former Brown. He is a great quarterback. He's not an incredible quarterback, and he's on the low end of a great quarterback, but he's a great quarterback. UFL should hire some IFL coaches or Division I, Div2. D1 definitely ain't going to happen just because of the money thing, but IFL or D3 definitely could for sure. Daniil Hunter, both cartoon characters. Touchdown the drive. Daniil Hunter's dog for sure. Who is the Stallions quarterback? It is Jamar Smith, making his first start since week 1 of 2023's USFL season and playing his first full game since the 2022 USFL South Division Championship game. He is starting because of the fact that Alex Magoo obviously went down after week 1. Or week 2, I should say. Matt Corral went down to injury. Case Cookis got banged up. And Andrew Peasley got down for injury. So injuries, literally nothing was performance-based aside from arguably Jamar starting. But yeah. Jamar is playing, it's very, very weird. His throws to Deion Kane have been incredible. Well, one throw was incredible. One of them was just Deion Kane just absolutely outsped his people. Overall, he's been okay. It's hard to view because his stats are kind of misleading because he has one that has a massive yak after it because the catch was short and then Deion Kane just burst for a touchdown. And the other one was a great throw. Minus the one incredible throw, he's been kind of okay today. Not incredible, but he hasn't been bad. He's been solid. 2022 USFL Chip, still the best game in spring football history in the modern era for sure. Absolutely crazy game. Love that one. KJ Costello versus Alex Magoo was insane. OBJ had 2 good years and 1 good catch. Honestly, pretty much true. But I've been a Washington fan my whole life because I was a kid playing Madden and I saw the Redskins logo and that was my favorite, so I became a fan. Need to go back to the Washington football team. At least not the Commanders. Well, Washington has been my whole life. I didn't expect them to be that good last year. I mean, they had the 1 year with RG3 and they had that year with Jane Daniels last year. I mean, they had the 1 year with Alex Smith. They were pretty solid there too. Could say how he is an FLQ. I hate Ole Miss, but I used to love that kid. Excuse me. Return to the 15, the 20, the 25, the 30, the 35. I mean, that might be a penalty on St. Louis for the hit, which would be kind of whack, but we'll see. I remember when Carolina picked him at like the 3rd round. I thought it was a great pickup for us. I love that draft Then he got hurt with his foot, and then he just never got a real shot after that. It really did hurt to see that happen. KJ Costello, yeah, that iconic moment, him throwing that pick six to Scooby Wright in the championship game to basically lose it. Oof. I know I've joked about it. I think it would have been funny if we had the trifecta of the Cleveland baseball team, the Washington football team, and the Utah Hockey Club. It's going to be a penalty on Birmingham, so they're going to lose about 10 yards here. I would have liked that. The Mammoth, I mean, they wanted to do the Yeti, and they just couldn't because of, like, trademark stuff, so they went with the Mammoth. I truly believe that. But it is what it is. I would have liked to say Utah Hockey Club because I think it's funny, and I think it's cool, but yeah. Especially when they beat the Bears in the last play of the game. Dude, Tyreek Stevenson, bro. The best part about that is if Tyreek Stevenson didn't go back in the play, they would have won. That's the best part about that play. Jamar gets the snap, hands it off to CJ Merrill, cuts to the middle, and he gets tackled for about a half-yard gain on the first down play. We're in the fourth quarter right now with 13 and a half minutes left. That Hail Mary and the Bills, a fantastic moment, absolutely brilliant. Missed the Shark Dog, definitely is a shame that he was done. It really hurts that we only got like the one healthy season from him, and every other year he was dealing with injuries. It definitely sucks. Again, 5 minutes left in the Michigan-Houston game. Again, Michigan, it all but looks like it's a guarantee that both Michigan and Birmingham will clinch a playoff spot this week, which obviously means that Houston will miss the playoffs for a fourth consecutive year if you view them on their technical history, or a second straight year if you view them on the league's view of their history. Tomorrow's game, of course, at noon is going to be the Renegades DC Defenders. And this is not a joke, by the way. For the third week in a row, the Brahmas will be hosting a Friday night football game, this time between them and the St. Louis Battlehawks. Diabolical that they have 3 consecutive Friday night football games. But you know what? Michigan had like 2 of them. It is what it is. While Doug was at TCU, I legit felt bad for him during several games. I hope he doesn't have any brain problems on the line. He was never scared. That Duggan team was insane to watch. All the comebacks, that was one of the most fun teams I've watched play college football. Jamar in shotgun, 2nd and 9. Ball is snapped, looks to the right side of the field. Quick goes, is intercepted. It's a pick 6 for the Battlehawks. It was easy read. That was like a literal first grade, easy to read book right there. Absolutely great pick 6. Callahan, O'Reilly with the pick 6 for the Battlehawks. They are right back in this game. They now are leading 22-21. Absolutely crazy. That was one of the most wild throws. Skip Holtz is upset. Skip Holtz looks less upset at Jamar than he did at Alex McGill or anyone else. That was an awful throw by Jamar Smith. Great play by Callahan right there. Absolutely insane. I mean, my goodness. That was as easy to read. I mean, seriously. My goodness. What a pick 6 to the Battlehawks. They are going for 2. If they make this 2-point conversion, they are now up by 3, which is a field goal. First grade book is crazy. I mean, dude, that was an insanely easy pick 6 for them right there. Just wild. Massive play. Lead St. Louis 22-21 with 13 minutes left in the game. Oh my goodness. That sucks. Should have cashed out my damn bet. I mean, that is a wild one right there. I mean, that was a bad throw by Jamar Smith. That is probably the worst throw of the day so far from either quarterback. Skip overcoached that mistake 100%. 2-point conversion for the Battlehawks. Ball is snapped. He rolls up in the pocket. He gets sacked, so they are not going to get this. It is a 1-point game. He honestly doesn't look as mad as he's looked at, like, the other quarterbacks all season. Like, it's like the joke with Gordon Ramsay versus the adults versus the kids. It looks like that in a lot of ways. 30-12, Michigan over Houston. Man, Michigan just absolutely bullying the Roughnecks. Let's look at this pick 6. Again, that was such an easy read. Jamar went for the quick pass on his first read, just an automatically blown route, jumped insane. Kakas's little cam. Kozla, T-Dog, absolutely wild. Can't be thinking at QB, especially when you are fresh. I mean, my goodness. Absolutely wild play right there. Skip Holtz looking dejected after that play happened. Lead goes to St. Louis. Absolutely wild right now. Just massive. Memphis coach, say bad words, bro. True, Jim Turner. That was great yesterday. Burley Senka, now let's go defense. Kick is up to St. Louis. Lands at the 5-yard line, return to the 15, the 20, the 25, cuts to the left, gets to the 30, gets out of bounds about the 32-yard line. Every remaining XFL team made the playoffs since 2023. I'm telling you, Skip probably said something very boomer like, just throw it. For a Hogan-esque throw by J-Mart. True. New champion would be good for the league, for sure. It would be really good to see. Like I said, as I said at the beginning of the year, I said the best thing for the league is the Stallions make the playoffs and get bounced in the first round. That'd be the best thing for the league overall. Hopefully that happens. We'll see. Birmingham, they got to at least get a field goal to take the lead. 22-21. Team Perkins, good old MV Perkins. Definitely hurts his MVP case that Michigan was able to beat the Roughnecks. Is the biggest thing people said all year is that the team is just one quarterback. Yeah. Rush up the middle. Gets about 2 yards on the ground. Every week the broadcast plays Jim Turner's mic at the wrong time. Perkins is legit AF. He going to the NFL. I would really like to see him go back to the Rams. Just be the backup for the Rams. Go back with Sean McVay. I'd love to see that. Battlehawks of the Panthers and the chip this year. It's definitely looking like that could easily be the case against the Battlehawks, man. If they can keep this up, it'll be great, but we got to see this. Show us the only remaining USFL team that haven't made the playoffs. Yes, it's non-existent. Yeah, if you count the Gamblers or the Roughnecks as being the Roughnecks, not the Gamblers, and that is 100% true. If not, then it's the Roughnecks as well. Again, depends if you go by the actual history, which is the Gamblers, or you go by the league's version of history, which is the Roughnecks. 2nd and 8, but there is a Stallion down. Looks like it's going to be just a quick little break, though. 2nd and 8 for the Stallions. Again, they need to score at least a field goal to take this lead. Again, because of the fact that this game is basically over between Michigan and Houston, it means that both Michigan and Birmingham have officially clinched the playoff spot as long as the score holds and Michigan wins. Then the game will be in Birmingham because Ford Field cannot host a playoff game this year. So no matter what, the game will be held in Birmingham. Bryce Perkins did not play today. He was out because of an ankle injury. Odds are he probably will not play next week, and that's my guess. He will not play next week against Birmingham to not expose the playbook, and he will play a bit in Week 10. Because, again, Michigan has nothing to really play for the 1 seed. But we'll see. Memphis 2-0 in OT games, true. 2nd and 8 for the Stallions. They're in 5 wide. J-Mar's in shotgun by himself. 3 receivers to his right, 2 to his left. Runs up. He's going to run for it. He gets the first down, and he slides down a little past the 45-yard line. Going to be down about the 46-yard line. No other team can say that true. I mean, like, they're doing the Roughnecks like the NFL does the Cleveland Browns. Like, for those of you who don't know, the Ravens are really the old Browns, but they basically changed it to make it look like they were an expansion team. Then keep Browns history as the Browns. That's basically what the UFL is doing. The technicality, it's the Roughnecks or the Gamblers, but league-wise, they're doing it just like the Browns with the Browns in the NFL. If the Stallions win it all there with the Patriots, Chiefs, 49ers, the UFL, I mean, hey, they've already won it 3 times. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs again. It's wild. Let's take the Stallion in the line next week. That's what my guess would be. Again, we don't know for sure about Bryce Perkins, but my gut feeling initially is he's not going to play next week. But with the team putting up 30 points against Houston today, that now makes me think that Houston could actually play pretty solid against Birmingham without Perkins. Because last year in the playoff game, they didn't play Perkins because he was hurt. And they were a third quarter away from making it a very close game. They picked themselves up by their bootstraps. Houston, man, oof. They're done. It was a season they had hope for about 2 weeks. They gave a lot of hope to their team, their franchise, and that was about it. Definitely hate to see it. Is what it is, though. 24 new posts. BT Potter making the 52-yard field goal. I can't believe he made a long kick, bro. If we had a better kicker, man, I would be so confident in our team. Let's see. Still in commercial break. Let's see who's the PGA right now. Who's winning the championship? -7 still leads. Still a bunch of guys at -6. Basically the same as when I last looked it up. Ooh, did Bryson go to? No, Bryson's at -6 too. Be able to lose to St. Louis this week. I mean, they don't play St. Louis. Oh, yeah, you're talking about this game. Never mind. Yeah, this year offensively definitely was a weaker year than last year. A lot of that just because the defense has got much better. I talked about it in the last stream, but I don't think you were here for that one. Basically, the defenses overall improved a lot. The two best offenses in the league this year were the Panthers and the Defenders, who changed their scheme the most from last year this year. Every other team kept relatively a similar scheme to last year. So when all the defenses are getting better, but your offense is basically the same, yeah. Hence why the Defenders and Panthers had the two best offenses in the league. They changed their offense. They got a lot better. First and ever, the Stallions. Jamar's in shotgun, gets the snap, hands it off, run to the left, gets to about the 48-ish yard line. Going to be about second and 7 for the Stallions with 12 minutes left. Yeah, the Battlehawks win this game. It doesn't mean that Arlington is in a must-win scenario. A St. Louis win means that Arlington has to win to stay alive. A loss will eliminate them from the playoffs if St. Louis gets the W here. Second and 7. Let's see what they do here. 11 and a half minutes left. Ball is snapped. Jammer looks to the left, throwing a deep pass to Deon Cain, who catches it. He makes a beautiful catch, and they are calling it a catch. Absolutely insane. Again, Deon Cain has been the MVP of this game for either team. He has been incredible. That was an incredible catch by him. No business making that reception. Let's see the replay to make sure he did get it. Both feet inbounds, catches it. He may not have gotten the second foot down. He may have only had 1 foot down. They're going to have to show the replay of that one. Was his foot down, or was it dragging? Doesn't look like it. Yep, one of his foot didn't get it. Hate to see that one. Almost a beautiful catch. His foot just was literally less than half. As people would say, it was like Kevin Durant's toe in that one game. Just a bit too shy to get that one. So lose the down. Incomplete pass is going to be called now. Speaking on USFL, XFL, UFL, QB talent's gotten worse over the last few years. I mean, when you compare it, right, you look at the last year, you had Luis Perez dominating. He had a much better year than he did this year. That's a lot because the offense versus defense scheme, as I talked about earlier. Adrian Martinez was incredible last year. This year, the Stallions just a lot of injuries, so the Stallions dealt with a lot of injuries. Panthers quarterback overall did get better in terms of play. Showboats stayed basically the same. Roughnecks got like a teeny bit better, but not like by a lot. Brahma's got a lot worse, so it's definitely a weaker one. Definitely the weakest we've seen since 2022's USFL. Yeah, the XFL had the college rule catching, which I was not a fan of, considering the fact that part of the goal is to get players in the NFL. Having the college rule makes it a bad decision. So, yes, it is an incomplete pass after the review. It is 3rd and 7 for the Stallions with 11 minutes and 15 seconds left. Then, of course, as the Houston game, it is 2 minutes left in the Houston game. Again, as long as the score holds, the Panthers will clinch a playoff spot as well as the Birmingham Stallions, because the Roughnecks loss makes it that. Again, let's see if they can get a first down here on 3rd and 7. This is a big deal for Birmingham. They need to try and get this lead back. If not, St. Louis has a really good shot at making this one. Yeah, it's definitely one. I just hate to see that his foot just couldn't hit the ground. That was a great catch that just was incomplete. 5 wide again for Jamar Smith. 3 receivers to his right, 2 to his left. Ball is snapped. Looks in the middle of the field. Looks to his right. Quick throw. It is going to be incomplete. Kind of threw it a bit too far. Incomplete. Going to be a punt here for the Birmingham Stallions. St. Louis, we'll see what they can do in this drive. Again, if they can get a touchdown here, make it 28-12 or 28-21. It'll be a tough decision on what they do. Do they go for 1? Do they go for 2? That will be very interesting because they do make it 28-21. You can go for 2 to make it a 9-point game, meaning you have to get a touchdown and a 3-point conversion. Because at the end of the day, it will still be a 7-point game. Will be very interesting to see what they call. The P.J. Walker Roughnecks, what a classic team. You try to be more unique with different rules, while USFL based try to be sprinkle league NFL. I mean, the USFL had a lot of different rules. 3-point conversion, obviously. The kickoff was the kickoff for the USFL was the best kickoff we've seen in the last since the NFL got rid of their old one. It is a shame they got rid of that. The USFL kickoff was so good because the USFL kickoff ended up, being like the regular kickoff, but they put the kicker way far back to where it allowed for returns, but it looked traditional. Very big shame they got rid of that rule. Delay of game on the Stallions. They are, of course, taking a 5-yard penalty, so yeah. They scored. They did not score. St. Louis is getting the ball back now, and the question is, if they do get a touchdown, what do they decide to do? If they get a touchdown on the subsequent drive, do you go for 1 or 2? It's a very tough call because if you go for 2 and make it, you make it a 9-point game, meaning that you're going to have to get a touchdown and a 3-point conversion, which is, of course, very tough to do. Kick is up. It's going to be returned at about, or it's going to be fair caught at about the 12-yard line. They have 2 players that are too fast and too good sometimes. Well, they try to go the NFL, use the NFL rules. Yeah, I mean, it's because the NFL changed the kickoff rule to be like it, and even then they didn't do it fully correct because the NFL's kickoff rule was a lot worse than the XFL's rule because of the fact of how touchbacks were and where kickers were. Really bad decision by the NFL, but it is what it is because they just didn't bring back the OG rule the way they should have, but, you know, it is what it is. Let's see, any posts up here? Pick 6. Yes, we saw that one. Roughnecks, man. They gave their fans so much hope for about 2 weeks, and that just fell off a cliff. Absolutely hate to see it. Michigan failed the 4th down again. Basically game over, so yeah. Run to the right is going to be slid for about a 5-yard gain. Really solid play for them right there. Second and 5 for the Battlehawks. Duggan is in shotgun. 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Ball is snapped. Quick throw to the right is going to be a caught pass, and it might be a first down. If they give him good forward progress, it will be a first down. If not, it'll be literally about like half a yard shy. TMNT and the PJ is in the CFL, right? I do believe he is, yes. What do you think of the UFL overtime grade NFL? Oh, the UFL is better to a degree. NFL playoff rules are pretty solid. I like having it be a full drive. If you're making the games quick, the UFL rule is better. If you're making it an objectively good overtime, the NFL is better. Playoff overtime. I know they kind of changed it with that. Let's go Battlehawks. Woohoo. Absolutely great game so far. Again, living up to the hype that we had last year. Ball is snapped. Handed off. And it's going to be stopped about half a yard shy. Didn't they hit Duggan while sliding? Yes, he's an RB. Yeah, he is an RB. That's the best part about the UFL compared to the NFL is they're a lot more generous when it comes to allowing hits. Like, still, obviously, there's some weaker calls here and there. But overall, they're not going to be like, oh, you made a tackling motion before he even tried to slide, but then you ended up hitting because he slid anyway. It's like, so yeah. 2nd and 10, ball snap. They do a little shuttle pass. It's going to be a fake. It's a trick play. It's a pass to the screen. Gets to about 1.5 yards. So they did all this fancy motion to get about 1.5 yards. So about 1.5 yards gain for St. Louis there. Of course, the Houston Panthers game, if some of you are joining us from that one, of course, that game essentially means that both the Panthers and Stallions will clinch a playoff berth this week, no matter what, if the Battlehawks win this game or not. If St. Louis wins this game and then Arlington loses tomorrow, it means that both St. Louis and DC clinch a playoff berth. If Birmingham beats St. Louis and DC beats Arlington, DC clinches a playoff berth, but St. Louis does not, and Arlington still has a slight chance. 3rd and 8 for the Battlehawks. Duggan is in shotgun. 1 man to his left in the backfield with him. Ball is snapped. Looks in the middle of the field. Throws it deep to the left. It is going to be an incomplete pass. Another one of those passes that was a really good pass that just wasn't able to be brought down. 7 minutes and 50 seconds left. Again, this game is easily one of the longest in the season. These games are supposed to be exactly 3 hours long pretty much, and this game still has got over 7 minutes of time left, and we're almost at 4 o'clock already. Absolutely wild. I do not have that game on. I know what's going on right now between them, but I'm not. Is it first down? No first down for the Battlehawks. Are going to punt this ball right now. Let's see what they do on this punt. Again, they need to get some good coverage. You not want to give the Birmingham Stallions a good field position on this return. It's a pretty deep punt. It's going to go all the way to about the 20-yard line. Return to the 25, makes a cut, makes it to the 30. Gets to the 35, and down at about the 36-yard line. So, okay field position for them right there. Again, Birmingham is down by 1 point. There's a little over 7 minutes left in the game. Looking at the live looking for the Roughnecks versus the Panthers. There is 6 seconds left. They're basically just playing for pride right now, showing the play on the left of the screen. So, yes, it is guaranteed now. Michigan and Birmingham, congratulations to both teams. They have clinched the playoff spot for the 2nd consecutive year in the UFL's history. Stallions, their 4th consecutive year. Panthers, their 3rd consecutive year if you include the USFL. And this game will be in Birmingham because Ford Field cannot host a playoff game. 1st and 10 for the Stallions. Motioning CJ Maribel to the right. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Quick little screen pass to Maribel, who gets about 5 yards. Still going about 10 yards. It's Marlon Williams, my bad. And he gets the first down. Good play for him right there. Absolutely great play for the Stallions right there. Getting the first down. I don't want to die young. Is this better than the Tank Bowl? I would say no. The Tank Bowl yesterday was a classic. That game was just so wild. This is a good second. This is a great game, but that game yesterday was awesome. 1st and 10 for the Stallions. 6 minutes and 48 seconds left in the game. 2 receivers to the left. Ball is snapped. Throws to the screen guy. He gets to the 50, gets tackled out of bounds about the 49-yard line in St. Louis territory. It's going to be about a 2nd and 6 here. Houston does score the touchdown, hits the over, so my game picks for that one are pretty wrong. Hate to see it, but it is what it is. Defense, Battlehawks. 2nd and 7 for the Stallions. Going to be a little over 6 minutes left and this ball is snapped here. Jamar is in shotgun. 2 receivers on both sides of the ball and his running back to his right, motioning him to the right side of the field. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Scrambling to his left. Rolling to his left. He might run it here. He's going to run it. He gets about half of it. Gets about 3 yards, maybe 3.5, depending on exactly where they spot him. Going to be about 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. Skip Holtz is not happy that he didn't throw that ball there. How many timeouts does each team have left? The Stallions have all 3 timeouts and have 1 challenge left. They used 1 earlier, so they only have 1 left. As for the Battlehawks, they have 3 timeouts and 0 challenges left because they did fail their first challenge earlier in the game. So 3 timeouts and a challenge left for Birmingham. 3 timeouts, no challenge left for St. Louis. Do you do pretty well? I do not bet on the UFL. I just have my game picks that coincide with the betting picks. I picked the under for that Panthers Roughneck game, so I got that one incorrect because of the touchdown. I do not bet personally. I just make my game picks, my score predictions, and I just combine them with what the betting picks are. This season I've been pretty okay. Not as good as last year, but mainly because of the fact that there's been so many random upsets this year. But overall, pretty solid this year and this week. If this score holds up, I will do pretty damn well overall this week, but we'll see. Like, so far. Curtis Johnson better not come back next season, on God. That's Arlington, yep. So, down goes Houston, officially out. So, Houston officially eliminated from the playoffs. Birmingham and Michigan both officially clinch. Man, who do I think is going to win this game? It's a tough one. I picked St. Louis to win this one, and that was before, of course, had the tragic tornadoes happen. They're playing for something else. I think St. Louis gets it done, but this is a very tough game to call right there. 3rd and 4. Let's see what they do here. Again, 5.5 minutes left in the game. Birmingham did just use one of their timeouts. This is a big play for them. So they're down to 2 timeouts and their challenge. 3 for 10 on 3rd down conversions today. This is a shorter one, though. They've averaged about 8 yards. This is only about 4 yards. 5 wide for Jamar Smith. 3 receivers to his right, 2 to his left. Ball is snapped. Looks to the left side of the field. Throws it deep. He's going for the end zone shot, basically. It is caught. He doesn't get tackled. It's a touchdown, Birmingham. They are up 27-22. Absolutely massive touchdown. Cade Johnson is able to beat his man, get the ball, and not get tackled. Absolutely wild touchdown for Birmingham. 27-22 over St. Louis. Now, what do you do here? If you go, this is a tough decision here. If you go for 1, you make it a 6-point game. If you go for 2, you make it a 7-point game. But if you fail, then a touchdown St. Louis is all they need to take the lead. This is a very tough decision here. Do you go for the 1 point, which is a much more closer guarantee, where then you can stop St. Louis on the extra point? Or do you go for 2 to force them to get an extra point? This is going to be a tough one. Did he step out? They're showing the replay. Did not step out. He wasn't even... Wow, he was a lot farther away than you would imagine. So he did not step out. That is going to stand. Touchdown Birmingham. Let's see what they do here. Do they go for 1 or go for 2? There's arguments for either, but you got to do one of them. They're lining up for 1. They're making it to where it's a touchdown game. Let's see if they can get it. Jamar's in shotgun. 2 guys in the backfield with him. 1 to his left, 1 to his right. 2 receivers out to his right, 1 to his left. Ball is snapped. Delayed handoff. Quick throw. It is caught. It is successful. Deion Kane once again making a big play. It is 28-22. It is a touchdown game. There is 5 minutes and 21 seconds left. St. Louis has all 3 timeouts left, but Birmingham still has a challenge left. Again, St. Louis will have to get a touchdown to tie it, and if they can get the extra point, they will take the lead. Yeah, the UFL conference being top-heavy, second year in a row that happened. Again, the 2 teams that were pretty clearly heading into the season, the 2 best teams in the conference, stay the 2 best teams in the conference. Again, back-to-back seasons where the Panthers and Stallions will make the playoffs. Definitely not what you want to see, but is what it is. Again, incredible catch by Cade Johnson. Great throw by Jameer Smith, just like Carr said. He's got a great deep ball. Again, 2 great deep passes today. One to him, one, of course, to Deon Kane. Overall, whenever he's throwing the deep ball, he's been incredible. The lower end, not as much. Yeah, we got to see what Max Duggan can do here. Again, there's still a lot of time left. It is possible that both teams can get the ball back a couple of times, depending on how everything goes. So we'll see once commercial break ends. Let's go to Twitter, see if anything got posted on there. Looks like attendance for one of these games came out. Roughnecks hit 4K for attendance. I believe that broke the record again for the worst attendance. Congrats for the Roughnecks for continuing to be inept. Broke their own record for worst attendance in UFL history. No, not UDFL, bro. What the hell? Return is up to the 25, the 30. Gets to about the 35-yard line right there. And, of course, the Panthers making it into the playoffs. Love to see that. No, they did it without even having Bryce Perkins is the best part. Bryce Perkins didn't even have to play, and they were able to pull that one off. They hand the ball off on first down to Jacob Sailors, who gets about 5 yards. Still on his feet, gets about 6-7 yards. Gets down at about an 8.5-yard gain. Absolutely incredible play by Jacob Sailors. His running back, or his offensive line just brought him right to it. Absolutely wild. Best team should make it if they're the best teams each year, so be it. Yes, he can. He's going to show us damn brutal Houston, yeah, L Houston, but I think Panthers are better than the Stallions. Again, they were able to pull this massive win off without Bryce Perkins is the most incredible part. States with an NFL team do not need a UFL team, much less the same city. 2nd and 1. Ball is snapped. Drop back to throw. Throws to the left. It is going to be caught. Deep pass to Hakeem Butler. Gets the gain. Is still moving, and he gets to about the 30-ish yard line. Incredible play by by Hakeem Butler and Max Duggan right there. I disagree with that one. If you're a city that can support a team, you should deserve it, like Michigan, right? The Michigan Panthers are easily the 3rd or 2nd best attended team, and DC is also 2nd, 3rd. They're literally fighting for that spot. Whereas a place like Birmingham, they don't have an NFL team in their state, yet their attendance is nowhere near as good as those two teams consistently. It's a matter of the city itself, that's what I would say. Sayers is legit too, but hard to see the NFL needs RBs who aren't guard tier. 1st and 10. They hand off the ball to Sailors again. Runs up the middle. He breaks away. Gets to the 15. The 10. He gets tackled at about the 6-yard line. There's under 4 minutes left. Yeah, both Gamblers and Roughnecks fans stopped for sure. Alabama is an NFL team. Even then, I mean, I wouldn't say that. Memphis doesn't have an NFL team. I know they have the one in the state, but, like, you can't view state because when you're talking about a state, like, dude, like, NC to drive left to right NC is, like, over 8 hours. So, I mean, like, you can't view a state. Memphis, right, hasn't been good attendance, and they don't have an NFL team. Ball is snapped, handed off up the middle. Sailors runs, and he reaches. He gets the touchdown. It is a tie game, 28-28 with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left. Again, St. Louis still has all 3 timeouts, and BM has 2 timeouts and a challenge. Now, what does St. Louis do here? Do they go for 1, just get the easy lead to go for 2? They're probably going to go for 1 here just to take the lead, but we'll see. We'll see. This is a big deal here. There is a flag. Let's see what this flag is. This could be bad. If this is on the offense, that's bad. It looks like St. Louis is gonna go for 3 because they're getting a penalty. Remember, if you get a penalty, it gives you the chance to go for 3 at the 1-yard line. Let's see. After the play, defensive foul. So the Battlehawks are going to go for 3 because of the penalty. This is a major mistake on the Stallions' part here. Because of how penalties work afterwards, they can go for 3 and get this at a very, very good and easy place to get it. Absolutely wild to see. Michigan Panthers are favorite team because of the name. That is one of the big reasons. That, the history, I think their history is one of the most interesting in terms of spring football history, back with how they became, or they ended up merging with the Invaders and had that year in '85. A lot of that stuff, color scheme, a lot of that. Paxton Lynch, Shea Patterson, that was a really cool combo, which Paxton Lynch gave us a good game, but yeah. Way too easy. It was a great score. Score is now 28-28. It hasn't updated on Fox here, but it is a 28-28 unless they're reviewing this right now, which just looks like they are. They're still reviewing this for a touchdown, maybe. Let's see. They're calling it not good on the field. They're still looking at this one. Okay, so they're saying that he was down initially, so it is 28-22. They did not give him the extra, or they did not give him the touchdown. But they run it up the middle, and they get it now. It is now officially 28-28 after they just ran it in with Sailors. So it is 28-28, but a massive break for Birmingham. Because that wasn't considered a touchdown, it means that they are not going to be able to go for 3 at the 1-yard line or at the 5. So now they're going to have to go for 1 to try and get this as a 1-point game. Absolutely wild. The refs always hate Alabama. Okay. So let's see what they do here. If you're St. Louis, they're going to go for 1. This is the correct call. I know some might say they should go for 3 to make it a field goal game. That's doing way too much. Go for 1. In shotgun, very controversial decision. You know how I feel about that. Ball is snapped. Handed off, and they do get it. Jacob Sailors makes it. It is a 1-point lead for St. Louis, 29-28. We're not putting a team in Oakland, try to copy success. Biggest issue with Oakland is California. California costs an insane amount of money to host a team anywhere in the state. That's the biggest issue there. So Stallions going to play to win the game by 3 now. Why 1 and lose by 2? I mean, going for 1 is the correct call for sure, because if they didn't get the penalties, going for 3 means you have to do it at the 10-yard line. Your odds of succeeding that are incredibly low, and then anyway, a field goal ends the game. Whereas if you get 1, you're forcing Birmingham to score. Going for 1 was the correct call here, because of the fact that if you allow a field goal, right, you are already going to lose if you fail the 3-point conversion, because even if you have like a 30% chance of making it, it ain't going to happen. This is definitely a wild game so far. Again, like I said, remember, within 2 minutes, it's college rules. Clock stops on first downs until the chains are moved, so you're able to get a lot of time that the NFL doesn't have once you're in 2 minutes. That's a big deal because we're at 3 minutes and 3 seconds left. It is entirely possible that both teams see the ball, Birmingham 2 times and St. Louis another time. It's entirely possible, but we'll see. If the Stallions, they want to make it their last drive. That's the best way to put it. This is what they need to do. Make it their last drive. This shouldn't be, but they need to make it. If they make this their last drive, they can win this game. We'll see. 30,000 is the attendance. It's a great number to see for St. Louis. Big improvement from last week, or last time. Let's see it. Return us to the 20, the 25. Thank you, aircraft carrier. I mean, this is what you want to see for sure. Absolutely great game. Again, this is the second time in a row these two teams have played in an absolute classic game, which you love to see. First and 10. Jamar is in shotgun. Ball is snapped. Runs up. It's a QB draw. He gets about 4 yards on the carry. 2nd and 7 for the Stallions. Drop back to throw. It's another quarterback draw. Jamar gets the first down, just barely. Big, big play right there. Absolutely wild right there. Live spread was 1-5 instead of taking the Stallions straight. Ooh. The crowd helps that team's stressful situations, I swear, at half. Stallions +2. 2-minute warning right here. It's all flippy floppy, who knows? What a game so far. Again, another great game. This and yesterday's game, you could argue that yesterday and today's game between the Stallions and Battlehawks are the 2 best games of the entire season. Love to see this. Especially after the first, 3 weeks of the season, how many rough games we've had. The last few weeks have been incredible. Stallion tried to bleed the clock, which, I mean, hey. To get in the comfortable field goal range, yeah, the Stallions still clinched. The Stallions have officially made the playoffs because of that. I'm not occupying. So the Stallions, because you have Andrew Mevis, you pretty much, if you can get to the 40-yard line, you're in field goal range enough. Because Mevis is somebody who can kick a 60-yarder. So the 40 is where you really need to get at least. If you can get there, technically you might be able to do a 42, but the 40 is where you really want to do it. They better let the QB run to field goal range. Honestly, they might. All my ads should be for refinancing debt, bro. Absolutely crazy game. Again, remember, these games are supposed to be 3 hours long, by the way. We are at 4:16. This game was supposed to be over 15 minutes ago. I know we joked about it, but initially, but that first half was so long. It was incredible. Yeah, I think this might be this peak viewership for not a raid or an overtime NFL game. All my ads be betting ads. Yeah, I love when I turn on my TV to watch a sporting event and it's DraftKings followed by, Underdog, followed by FanDuel, followed by ESPN Bet. Bro, come on, man. I don't want to bet all my money on it. Bet my life savings on who wins the championship this year. Absolutely wild. 14 new posts. Man, so many posts about this. Again, it is great. You have 2 teams that have officially clinched a playoff spot now. Michigan Panthers clinching that playoff spot. Love to see it. I love they're only showing that despite the fact that the Stallions have also clinched. I think they're kind of forgetting that the Stallions also clinched a playoff spot already because of this. But, it is what it is. Need Stallions to win for my parlay. We'll see. They got 2 minutes left. They're making this their last drive. They just got to get a field goal to try and win this one. We'll see. Come on, let's get a turnover. Week 5 might be the best week of the season. It was a great week. That was a great for sure. League promoting a bookie. Just know it's right, bro. 1st and 10. 2-minute warning. They're at their own 35-yard line. They still got to go a decent ways away. Jamar rolls to his left. He evades the sack. He throws it deep in the middle of the field. It is an incompletion. It almost was. But there's a flag. This might be DPI. I think the defender knows this. It's number 3 again. We talked about this earlier in the game. I know somebody brought it up. He's down. If this is DPI, that is bad. Remember, it's the UFL, so it's only a 15-yard penalty. It's not the spot of the foul unless it's obvious kind of thing. But still a 15-yard penalty, so that gives a lot of yardage to Birmingham right there. I feel like this is the final year we see St. Louis in the championship. Especially with how DC's been this year, you got a really good shot. I need St. Louis money line. Oh, the gambling stuff is legit serious problem for society. Oh, yeah. I mean, all the people going broke, man. It's insane. This is the year it's going to happen, bro. Hell yes. How much advertising is legit concerning 100% for sure. Pass interference. Peyton Jones is going to the sideline right now. There's a minute 52 seconds left. Is a 15-yard penalty. Now, if you're St. Louis, there is a minute and 52. St. Louis still has 3 timeouts left. They are now in a situation where they might have to start calling them to get the ball back themselves to kick a field goal. Because the fact that, again, it's a 1-point game, St. Louis, if Birmingham kicks a field goal, they take the lead. With that 15-yard penalty, they're about less than 20 yards away from field goal range. This is going to be a very, very tough decision on what St. Louis does when they start calling these timeouts. Worst thing you could have happen is let Birmingham kick a game-winning field goal that's a walk-off. So we're going to see what they do here. Again, Birmingham still has a challenge and 2 timeouts. St. Louis has all 3 timeouts left. And when you do parlays or when you just don't know Paul, living in a college town, they all gamble. Not too shocked. 1st and 10 for the Stallions after the 15-yard penalty. Let's see what they do here. 22 seconds left in the play clock. Remember, clock stops on first downs. So we'll see what they can do here. Absolute W for the Panthers getting that playoff berth. Again, them and the Stallions have officially clinched the playoff berth because of the fact the Roughnecks lost. They're at the 50-yard line. Need at least 10 yards, and they're in legit field goal range. Ball snapped. Quick throw by Jamar to the right. It is a bad pass, incomplete. Big break for St. Louis. That stops the clock. It's what you want if you're St. Louis. I played defense. Obviously, may hedge real quick. Caused a lot of timeout for injury. It was definitely... I'm just glad they have the PI rule where it's not always at the spot of the foul. That's a really good rule they have. Because if that was a spot foul PI for that kind of PI, definitely would have been a weak one. But the fact it's only a 15-yard penalty, I think only. Yeah. Minute 49. That's a big incompletion for St. Louis that really helps them out when it comes to the clock. Again, Birmingham needs to get at least 5 more yards to be in a super long field goal range, but they really need a first down here. Handoff on second down. St. Louis gets the stop. They stop him about a yard shy of the line of scrimmage. Big play for St. Louis. St. Louis is deciding to not call a timeout here because of the fact that where they are, Birmingham is in 4-down territory, so I'm actually okay with St. Louis not calling a timeout here because of the fact that Birmingham is in 4-down territory because they have to get essentially 9 yards to kick a field goal. If they get anything less, they're probably just going to go for it on 4th down. Ball is snapped. Jammer looks to the middle of the field. Running to his right. He throws it over the middle. It is too high. It is incomplete. Bad throw by Jamar. He should have just ran it in that scenario. Me when I lie. I actually forgot it was a spot foul. It wasn't a spot foul. That's good. Usually he's 15 strong here. Absolutely love seeing as many Zomb high 90s in here. Again, that honestly might be on Skip right there. Skip the whole game has been trying to tell Jamar to keep throwing it. In that scenario, Jamar should have tried to run for it, get about 8 yards, make it a very manageable 4th down or a borderline field goal range. Instead, he threw it. It was an incomplete pass. Even though it was a bad throw on Jamar, that's on Skip above anyone else. 4th down, yes, it is 4th and 11. Birmingham needs a first down or a defensive penalty. Play clock is going down. Birmingham has to call a timeout here. Birmingham is down to 1 timeout here. Again, 4th and 11. They need either a defensive penalty or a first down to keep this alive. 1-point game. Absolutely wild game. Again, Jamar not running it right there really did hurt them. If he had ran it there, gotten about 8 yards, at least even 7, makes this a much more manageable 4th down and actually makes it a debate on if you're going to send out Mevis. Again, Mevis has kicked a 60-yard field goal before. So yeah, because I can't find the damn game and I bet on it. Yeah, the only place, I believe Fox, unless you have it locally, it won't be on there. So it's on regular Fox right now. So if you have broadcast TV and you have Fox station, it's on there. Or it's on the Fox Sports app. I haven't gotten a haircut in a minute. I'm probably getting one soon. But yeah, it's been a minute since I got one. 4th and 11 for the Stallions. 1 minute and 17 seconds left. Again, the clock is a non-issue at this exact moment. It is a matter of what the Stallions can do if they can get a first down or not. It is do or die for them. They need to get to the 40-yard line. Jamar's in 5 wide. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Throws it. It is caught for a first down. Jordan Thomas with a big grab. He has done this so much in his career. The massive play. They're going to have to review this to make sure it didn't hit the ground. But initial call is a catch. They're going to have to get this one up quick. Remember, first down stops the clock until the chains are moved. They're going to go quickly. 1 minute and 8 seconds left in the clock. Ball is snapped. Jamar does a QB draw, but there is a flag. This is going to be a false start penalty on the Stallions. And that's bad. Rip game over. As soon as that happens, it's a false start on the Stallions. They are now basically out of field goal range. This makes it a very tough scenario for both teams. Again, St. Louis still has 2 timeouts left they could use in certain scenarios. Oh my goodness. I'll be watching from now on. You could really be a good commentator. Thank you. Please stop them. We got so many people wanting the Stallions to win, so many wanting the Battlehawks to win. So again, 5-yard penalty on the false start. Trying to do hurry up. They just went too fast, showing the replay. And he moved a bit early. Remember, Skip Holtz does have a super challenge. For those of you who do not watch the UFL too much, you can challenge within 2 minutes in the UFL. So if something happens, Skip can challenge it. That is important to note. So the Stallions could challenge. 1st and 15 from the 45-yard line. They need at least 5 yards to get a first to be able to kick a field goal. Jamar is in shotgun, running back to his left in the backfield. 2 receivers to his right, 2 to his left. 55 seconds left in the game. 1st and 15. They're still holding it right now. Let's see what happens. This is definitely game of the year for the 2nd consecutive year. The Stallions and Battlehawks putting up game of the year. Let's see what happens here. 23 seconds left in the play clock. Jamar's in shotgun. Ball is snapped. It's a bad snap, but he picks it up. He's running with it. He ends up getting about half a yard. Almost a tragedy for them, but instead they do end up getting about half a yard. Not calling a timeout here. Again, they're going to try and eat up this clock. They only need about 4 more yards, and they can kick a long field goal. Mevis has kicked a 60-yard plus before in college, so that is a big thing to note. They don't need a first down. They just need to get some yardage. They're in shotgun. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. They hand the ball off. They get to the 40. It's a fumble. The ball is out. It might be St. Louis ball. Let's see who gets the ball. Whoever gets this ball probably wins this game. Let's see. Nobody's calling for it. Neither team is saying they have it. Let's see who gets this one. Oh my goodness. Whoever gets this ball more than likely wins. It's St. Louis ball. Oh my goodness. Birmingham, the Birmingham is going to challenge this. They're going to do some challenge. They're going to find some BS to try and challenge. It's going to be a Hail Mary for them. It's their only chance. If not, it's St. Louis victory 29-28 in the game of the year for the 2nd year in a row. Absolutely wild. Everyone in chat's going crazy. What a game. Again, Skip needs to try and think of something quick. He's got about 15 seconds, really, to try and throw some sort of challenge flag. But we'll see if he can pull this one off. I don't think there is. At least from initial viewing, it wasn't anything. Oh, my goodness. Absolutely wild right there. My goodness. Jordan Thomas made that incredible catch. Trying to see who that fumble was. That was an absolutely wild play right there. C.J. Maribel with the fumble. The Stallion lifer fumbling that. That is a rough run right there. No challenge by Skip. He does not have anything he can challenge. So it is going to be a St. Louis 1-point victory. Wait, Skip's got the flag out. He's going to probably go for the Hail Mary challenge on something. Just got here. What happened? The Stallions just fumbled the ball in field goal range to give the Battlehawks the ball, and now Skip Holtz is challenging something to try and get a random Hail Mary to get the ball back. Call was confirmed. Super challenge is unsuccessful. So the St. Louis Battlehawks are going to win this game. An absolutely wild game. Easily the best game of the season. Just like last year. 1-point victory. Both teams are now 1-1 against each other all time. With both teams that were the home team winning. Of course, Birmingham beat the A.J. McCarron Battlehawks last year in Birmingham. And this time the Battlehawks beat the Stallions. So, Steve, an absolutely crazy, crazy game. Crazy ending. St. Louis got the W. I mean, seriously, an absolutely wild game. St. Louis, despite missing the field goal, ended up getting it, which, by the way, does mean that Birmingham have officially broken their record for most losses in a single season. 3 losses is the single most in history for the Stallions. But it is fine. The Stallions still clinched a playoff spot with the Panthers beating Houston. The UFL sites haven't really posted it yet, but they have. So Birmingham is officially in the playoffs against Michigan, and it will be a home game in Birmingham because Ford Field cannot host a playoff game. As for St. Louis, if Arlington loses tomorrow, both DC and St. Louis clinch. And more importantly, that means that the game will be in St. Louis because Audi Field cannot host a playoff game. So absolutely wild. Easy S-tier game, Adrian. One of the best games in UFL history. I think this was better than last year's matchup. I think in UFL history, this is the best ever. Definitely in the top 5 ultramodern spring football games of all time. Absolutely wild game. If this ends up being a championship game, would be incredible. What a wild game. Again, also an insanely long game. For a UFL game that doesn't hit overtime, to end 30 minutes after its normal time is absolutely wild. I mean, seriously. Both games, mainly because of IndyCar. IndyCar has a bunch of stuff going on in the WNBA. The only time slots available are pretty much this team and then next year or tomorrow at the same time as ABC's game. Hate to see it, but it kind of is what it is. Again, absolutely wild game. Incredible. 29-28. Again, Vegas knows this spread was 0.5 when I did my video of my game picks. St. Louis got the W. This team had so many doubters heading into this week. I ended up picking them to get the W. I thought it was going to be an insanely close game. Or not this close, but my goodness. Thank you, T-Dog. Again, incredibly successful stream. Just a wild game. Absolutely insane. If you enjoyed this stream, make sure you like this and subscribe to the channel. I do multiple UFL videos every week. In fact, this week there's going to be a lot of videos because of playoff teams and eliminated videos, tank bowl videos. I stream 2 games every week like this, do every Friday Night Football game and 1 other game. The other game is voted on by Community Heroes, the second tier of the community membership tier where you get exclusive team emojis and exclusive video every month. This month was my top 10 all-time NBA players. So think about doing that as well. This was an insanely good game, a really fun stream. Chauncey, my Stallion, is still a threat. They really are. This game, some might act like the Stallions disappointed. This game proved that they are still very, very much a team to beat. I'm actually lowering my rings on the Battlehawks on offense, though. At least passing is very low. Yeah, the Battlehawks offense, it's definitely something really interesting. They put up 29 points. Again, the Max Duggan era, this is their second time putting up 20 points, and they got the W here. A massive win for them. Again, thank you all for being here. Really fun stream, almost 4 hours long. And as always, guys, have a great night. And yes, St. Louis is the only team to win 4 in a row right now. Pretty wild. They're on this big win streak. But as always, guys, have a great night.